Hello. Welcome to the Fanfic Majesty. If you want more content, you can follow me on Patreon. I will be uploading more content on there that will be exclusive. The link is in the description. Please support me. 11 SW. 251 Golden Lion Shiki's struggle. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. How is this going? At this moment, the smile on Golden Lion Shiki's face froze instantly when he finally realized what it was. When the iron Excalibur smashed Sakura into pieces with a force of destruction, and hit Muku heavily. Wow! With a scream, Golden Lion Shiki was sent flying with his sword. During the reverse flight, he still couldn't believe what happened just now. Obviously, for a swordsman, the quality of the sword often plays a key role. He didn't understand why the ordinary iron sword temporarily made by Bai Ye's ability could crush the famous sword Sakura 10 he had collected so hard, even Deadwood was almost crushed. Sakura 10 and Deadwood are both famous swords. Although there is a huge gap between the upper and lower limits of the quality of famous knives, the two famous knives he has worked hard for, although not as high as the 853, are not as high as the Supreme Kuei Dao 12 works, but at least they are better than the quality of the Da Kuei Dao 2 Shi. A little. This is the truth. After all, Whitebeard Edward, who is also a legendary pirate, has the supreme sharp knife Kong Yunchi in his hand. Golden Lion Shiki pulls again, the two famous knives that replace his feet, the quality can't be worse than the big fast knife 21 work. However, it is such a famous sword Sakura 10, whose quality is not inferior to that of the big Kuei Dao 21 work, that was shattered by the ordinary iron sword in Bai Ye's hands. It's no wonder that Golden Lion Shiki still doesn't want to believe it. Could it be that Bai Ye's swordsmanship is far superior to the old man's, so he can ignore the quality of the sword and crush Sakura? Such an idea popped up in Golden Lion Shiki's mind. Of course, he quickly denied it by shaking his head. He just didn't want to believe that Bai Ye's attainments in the way of swordsmanship were much stronger than him at such a young age. Advertisement. What? Bai Ye originally planned to smash the two swords on Golden Lion Shiki's feet in one go, turning him into a disabled person. But never expected that with the power of the Dragon Slayer Profound Truth, only one of them was shattered. It seems that the quality of the remaining sword is quite good. Bai Ye muttered, and a bold idea came to his mind. It is said that all swords can be tempered into black knives. But it is not. The quality of a sword that can be tempered into a black knife must not be much worse. The Supreme Great Sword itself is already the pinnacle of swords. There is no need to practice hundreds of battles to become a black sword, but those qualities are not as good as the Supreme Great Sword, but are they better than the Great Sword? These swords are the most likely to become black swords after many battles. Because the quality of the sword is too poor, it will be unbearable and shattered on the way to become a black sword. Therefore, it is impossible to talk about becoming a black knife. Apparently, Golden Lion Shiki's hand, should be said to be the wood on the foot, which obviously has the quality of being trained as a black knife. It's a pity that Golden Lion Shiki has been busy running around all these years and has no time to practice it into a black knife. Thinking of this, Bai Ye didn't hide his scheming anymore. He wants to order this dead wood. Bang bang bang. After the Golden Lion Shiki was smashed to the ground, it smashed hard into the deck, directly piercing the deck with a huge trace, and finally, it was firmly mounted on the mast and stopped. The huge mast supporting the entire ship was almost knocked down. Damn it. Advertisement. After the Golden Lion Shiki stabilized his body, he couldn't help gnashing his teeth. Golden Lion Shiki thought in his heart. Immediately, without hesitation, he limped up from the ground, jumped into the air, looked down from a height, and swept down with his sword. Lion Majesty. Govern place earth coiling. Help me. Sakura 10 was crushed. He was equivalent to having a foot cut off, and now it has become a tumor, greatly affecting the combat power. Idiot. Even if we are in a temporary partnership, they are still pirates. Have you ever seen Marine save a pirate? The pirates who were still on the flying sky suffered a direct disaster and lost their foothold. They all went out from 1,000 meters above the sky and fell down. Just as the Buster Call fleet was filling its shells and readying itself for indiscriminate bombing. Seeing the pirates of the flying pirates screaming and falling from the sky, a marine soldier on the battleship couldn't help but say. 0. Robin's cold voice sounded. The battles between Robin and Crow the Clown, and Weibel and the Executioner also come to an end. Why? Why would she know the space mezzanine where I hide? How did she do it? Obviously the space mezzanine can completely hide my breath. Now that Feikong has been completely broken, there is no reason to hesitate. Send an order to get all warships ready to fill shells and bomb the target area indiscriminately at any time. Anyway, they are now a cooperative relationship. Moreover, the reason why they can float at an altitude of 1,000 meters is also thanks to the lion fruit ability of Golden Lion Shiki. The more it drags on now, the more unfavorable the situation will be for the old man. There is no other way, it seems that we can only resort to that trick. Accompanied by Golden Lion Shiki roaring like a wild lion, open black lens bracket flying sky close black lens bracket suddenly disintegrated and turned into pieces. He never thought that a woman could be so beautiful, yet bring such hopeless terror to people. Now it seems that he is thinking too much. Advertisement. Only a few people with good strength, who have mastered moonwalk, or who can fly in the air for a short time by virtue of their abilities, did not fall down. The officer thought so. This includes Clown Crow and the executioner. After more than an hour of fighting, she had already figured out the space fruit ability of Clown Crow. Clown Crow saw the half-human and half-skeleton Robin, approached quickly, and was terrified. Bone Flying Flower Order. However, the target of this sword is not Bai Ye, but open black lens bracket flying sky close black lens bracket. Also, that Vice Admiral made the decision to cooperate with Golden Lion Shiki. After killing Bai Ye and Golden Lion Shiki this time, he must send a copy to 5 elders adults. What's the situation? After understanding this point, Robin will naturally not be merciful anymore, approaching Clown Crow at an extremely fast speed. The officer ordered. After the Clown Crow disappeared, there was a tiny crack in that space, where he hid. Robin stepped on the continuously forming and disappearing bones, and quickly approached the hiding place of 0.2 Clown Crow. Sir, we want to lend a helping hand, just hit them. What? No need to hide anymore, you can't hide. However, these remarks naturally attracted abuse from those Marine officers. He originally planned to use the Golden Lion Shiki to push Bai Ye back to the pinnacle and then he could lock the target better. 252 Clown Crow, die. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Bone Flying Flower Order. Along with Robin's bone cold voice, in the next second, countless bone spurs protruded from her body. The bone spurs directly pierced the space, piercing Clown Crow's body, limbs, and head. Not only that, groups of black armament hockey followed. That's because, even armament hockey's coverage speed can't catch up with the bone spur's speed. Clown Crow can also transfer space in space, but unfortunately, facing such a fast speed of bone spurs, he has no time at all. Poochie. Poochie. The Clown Crow was completely pierced by bone spurs, leaving his body completely shattered. The nemesis of Devil Fruit's ability, armament hockey, directly blocked his ability. This time, Clown Crow can't die anymore. The other side. Weibo vs. Executioner. Advertisement. Although Weibo has become very large through the blood of the Demon King, for the executioner of Grandmaster Conqueror's hockey, no matter how big Weibo becomes at 30, it is all superficial and flashy. It is also true that Weibo was even suppressed by this executioner during the period when the fight first started. Several times, the executioner even relied on the strength of armament hockey to throw Weibo, who was several times bigger than himself, directly out. Executioner, like Weibo, is not a person with abilities. He just relies on the advantage of being a fur tribe with a strong physique, and he has cultivated Conqueror's hockey to ultimate, so even if he goes head to head with the Titan like Weibo, not timid at all. The battle between the two is different from Robin's fight against Clown Crow, with all kinds of bells and whistles, hiding space, bones flying flowers and other bells and whistles. The battle between them is pure toughness. Head to head, punch to the flesh. Although it is not fancy enough, this most direct way of fighting is also exciting to watch. Moreover, both of them were considered real men, even if their fists kept colliding, their muscles burst and their flesh was bloody, neither of them had the intention of retreating. On the contrary, they became very excited because of this straightforward fighting style. However, just when the fierce battle between the two was in full swing, an accident happened. As Golden Lion Shiki cut open black lens bracket flying sky close black lens bracket to pieces with one sword, both real men lost their footing. The executioner is fine, he knows that he is not a person with abilities, and he is also Golden Lion Shiki's right-hand man. It is inevitable that one day, he will encounter the situation of falling from the sky, and he is not like the Clown Crow, who has no ability to help. Falling from an altitude of 1,000 meters will surely kill you. Just in case, he found a cowardly Marine among the Marines captured by the flying pirates, and forced him to teach him moonwalk, and thus learned moonwalk. Yes, crazy. After transforming into the Tyrant Galio, entering the second stage of the Devil's Bloodline, Weibo's physique has been improved terribly. But if Bai Ye heard his words, he would probably vomit blood. Advertisement. As for the final stage, Demon God Galio, Weibo naturally has not been developed. This is why people are more popular than people. Watching Weibo fall like a huge meatball, even Bai Ye in the duel with Golden Lion Shiki couldn't help being distracted. And Weibo, a big fool, has not fully figured out the bloodline of the Devil King until now, and the use of the bloodline of the Devil King has only stayed at the first stage so far. Ah, what bone flying flower order or something, gorgeous and terrifying power. The speed was so fast that even the executioner, who was proficient in observation hockey, almost missed his figure. But so what? It is enough for lousy TM to have a physique like a devil. Good guy, look at Robin, who was inherited at the same time as you. Now he has thoroughly understood Dead Bone Pulse, and combined with his own abilities of flowers and fruits, he has developed various tricks. From almost falling into the sea, to flapping the wings on his back, and returning to the executioner, Weibo only took 0.1 second. If it is said that he used the bloodline of the devil to make himself extremely huge, he was the first stage of the bloodline of the devil, the Tyrant Galio. The executioner reacted extremely quickly, almost immediately blasting Weibel's head with his fist covered in thick armament hockey. What the hell? Of course, the second stage of the Demon King's bloodline is not just as simple as adding a pair of wings. At this moment, Weibel has not only become larger in size, can fly freely in the air, but also gained explosive strength. Increase. On the other hand, Weibel is not a person with abilities himself, and it is even more impossible to learn moonwalk in Marine 6 styles. After Feikong was chopped into pieces, he was bigger, heavier, and denser, and his falling speed was even faster than others. Advertisement. However, just as he was about to manipulate the airflow and drag Weibel up, he suddenly changed his mind. Weibel has also learned Conqueror's Hockey, but he only learned a little bit, even covering his fist with armament hockey. For him, he can't control it freely. After Weibel yelled like constipation, Hockey's demon wings grew smoothly on his back. Therefore, when open black lens bracket flying sky close black lens bracket was cut to pieces, the executioner relied on moonwalk to stay in the air, and did not end up falling to death like other pirates. But even so what? Now he is just like a monster of steel and iron. So what if you don't know Conqueror's Hockey? What if you are not skilled in using armament hockey? At first glance, the executioner is covered in pitch black armament hockey, as if wearing a mighty hockey, a high-tech invulnerable armor, very hockey. If it weren't for Weibel's simple mind and his loyalty to Bai Ye would probably have to consider changing the blood of the Devil King for personal inheritance. Whoosh. So now, he uses the bloodline of the devil to grow himself the same as Galio, the mighty hockey's wings of the devil, that is the second stage of the bloodline of the devil, Galio the devil. It turns out that the blood of the Devil King passed on to me by brother Bai Ye is not just as simple as being able to grow bigger. Having said that, at a critical juncture, Weibel finally discovered the true usage of the blood of the Devil King. After Weibel made a shocking discovery, he was ecstatic. But it doesn't matter, the blood of the Devil King is extraordinary, even if it is only the second stage, it is enough to hang and beat the executioner. Because he found that Weibel, who was falling at an accelerated rate, not only did not have the panic when he fell at the beginning, but seemed to have discovered some shocking secrets, and he was ecstatic. 253 The executioner crushed to rubbish by absolute power. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Fist to fist. Boom. There was a loud bang, and a shocking scene happened. The fist covered with thick armament hockey was repulsed by the fist that did not cover armament hockey. The situation was reversed. Originally, no matter how big Weibel's fist was, it was still made of flesh and blood, and it would be a disadvantage when it encountered the iron fist covering armament hockey. Even, the flesh and blood that was directly collapsed. But this time, the situation was different. Weibel's huge fist, instead of being bloody, crushed towards the executioner with a terrifying trend. How is it possible? How did he become so powerful in an instant? Also, what happened to the pair of wings behind him? Is this the ability of Devil Fruit? But I have never heard that there is such a devil in this world fruit, and, if this is the ability of Devil Fruit, it's too pervert. At this moment, in the terrified eyes of the executioner, what he saw was no longer Weibel, but a demon king, Demon Lord Galio. No, how could I lose to a big fool? The executioner was not reconciled, so he crazily cast Conqueror's Hockey, Armed Color, Knowledge Color, Conquerors, 3 kinds of hockey at the same time, in order to resist Weibel's devastating punch. However, it couldn't be stopped at all. Crack, crack. The executioner covered armament hockey's steel arm in thick black, and suddenly, the steel burst. Numerous cracks spread all over the executioner's entire arm and fist. The executioner's cultivation of armament hockey has reached the point of perfection. Although it is not yet a high-level armament hockey, it is only one step away from a high-level armament hockey. He covered his fists and arms with thick armament hockey, even harder than steel, that would not be an exaggeration. But even so, Weibel, who was incarnate as the devil Galio, was still useless. Under the current Weibel's punch, even steel was directly shattered. Click. The sound of bones breaking. Advertisement. The executioner, who had been gritting his teeth, finally broke his steel arm directly. Ah! The ferocious executioner let out a shrill scream. However, it's not over yet. Weibel's huge fist is like a giant wheel, and the executioner crushes it and throws it away. No, it's impossible. No. The executioner shouted the last sentence, and then, under absolute power, his whole body was directly crushed. The body of steel burst into pieces. Then flesh, then bones. Click, click. In the end, under Weibel's huge fist, the executioner crushed until there was no scum left. Isn't it? The big fool is so powerful. Granu, who had been paddling in the water, was startled when he saw this. She had just bet her sister Monet that Weibel couldn't beat the executioner. Is this the power of the bloodline? The bloodline of the Devil King. As for Virgo, the whole person fell into deep thought. He knew that the bloodline of the Devil King that Bai Ye passed on to Weibel was not simple, but he did not expect it to be so powerful. At this moment, Virgo, a taciturn man, finally made up his mind to devote his allegiance to Bai Ye and follow Bai Ye closely. Maybe in this way, he will be favored by Bai Ye, and he may also have a chance to get the blood inheritance. The performance is not bad. Regarding Weibo crushing the executioner with his fist, Bai Ye only said this. Are you still distracted at this time? Advertisement. Watch out. Seeing that Bai Ye still had time to be distracted at this moment, Golden Lion Shiki obviously didn't pay attention to the powerful moves he was going to perform next, and immediately became angry. Die, Bai Ye. Golden Lion Shiki roared. Under the control of Golden Lion Shiki Lion Fruit's ability, the chopped pieces of flying sky condensed into a huge stone shape, roaring and pounced towards Bai Ye. Lion Majesty. Govern Place Earth Coiling, can be known from the name, and it is an upgraded and enhanced version of Lion Majesty, Earth Coiling, previously performed by Golden Lion Shiki. The power is naturally 10 times stronger than Lion Majesty, Earth Coiling. Roar. Roaring, the lion head poured out the power of an entire ship, and swooped towards Bai Ye. The seawater flooded back crazily for the first time. But, it's not over yet. Swish. It turned out that the sawdust controlling open black lens bracket flying sky close black lens bracket condensed into a lion head to attack Bai Ye. It was just a cover, and the next move was Golden Lion Shiki's real means of attack. Just when the lion's head was about to bite into pieces and devour Bai Ye, who had been indifferent all this time, finally moved. That scene, that momentum, was simply frightening. An overwhelming sword energy swept out well out. The strong wind even blew away the cloud clusters at a height of 10,000 meters. Golden Lion Shiki's roar sounded again. Boom. This is Golden Lion Shiki's famed swordsmanship. No. Advertisement. Facing the lion head formed by an aircraft carrier class pirate ship, Bai Ye stood in the wind, motionless. Thousand Slice Valley. The sword move is as its name suggests, this sword is enough to slice a valley 1,000 times. The power of magic moves has doubled. Moreover, this is just a failed sword energy, so who is the one who really cut through this move? It was also an iron fist, but this time the power of the iron fist was very different from before. Bang. Well done. Boom. Accompanied by Golden Lion Shiki's angry shout, he jumped up, and then, with only one remaining foot, Muku, he slashed down at Bai Ye fiercely. With the sound of heavy and dull collisions, the next second, the huge lion's head turned into debris and exploded. Suddenly, a gully several kilometers long was cut out of the sea. Unexpectedly, I can actually witness this trick in my lifetime. It can only be said that people think too much. Bai Ye smashed the lion's head with just one iron fist. Steel fist of Iron Dragon. Everyone felt their scalps go numb after thinking about it. I'm afraid they were cut in half by a sword, and then turned into nothing under the raging sword energy. After the proficiency of all Dragon Slayer magic reaches 90, it can be said to be a watershed. Now, Bai Ye's Iron Dragon Slayer magic proficiency has reached 90, and all Iron Slayer magic proficiency has reached 90. That arrogant expression simply ignored all of this at all. Iron Dragon Slayer magic. With a reminder, the sword energy came down from 1,000 meters high and slashed fiercely on the sea. Lion. 1,000 Slice Valley. Careful. 254 No. I just want to show you what real swordsmanship is. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Before the sword was completely slashed, Bai Ye not only showed no timidity in the face of the shocking sword chi, but showed an increasingly excited expression on his face. Ahahaha. Golden Lion Shiki, does this look decent? Does this look a bit like the legendary Great Pirate? While laughing wildly, Bai Ye slowly drew out the iron sword from the void. Simply a lunatic. Seeing that Bai Ye was still drawing his sword slowly in the face of this situation, even Golden Lion Shiki couldn't stand it anymore, and called a lunatic. At the same time, great opportunity. Everyone, follow my orders and fire. Fire. Seeing this, the officers on the Buster Call felt that this was the best chance to destroy Bai Ye, and immediately they didn't care. Golden Lion as an alliance and Vice Admiral as a commander were both in the area of indiscriminate bombing, then frantically ordered to open fire. In the next second, people saw the terror of the Buster Call fleet again. Boom, boom, boom. Countless cannonballs poured down from the sky, and then exploded. For a moment, the entire sky was dyed red by artillery fire. The pirates on the sea below were all shocked when they saw this. Fortunately, this time the battle took place in the air. If it were on the sea, what kind of damage would it cause? The dilapidated pirate ships they were riding on were probably burned to ashes by the indiscriminate bombing, right? Also, this is the firepower that can destroy a country in just a few minutes. Even if the explosion happened at an altitude of 1,000 meters, one can imagine the shock it brought to people. Advertisement. The indiscriminate bombing by the 5 Buster Call fleets, coupled with the shocking sword slashed by Golden Lion Shiki, people are curious, what will Bai Ye do to escape this catastrophe? I'm afraid, no one can escape it. What? Just as Weibo finished the executioner, he saw such a powerful scene. Even though he is now incarnate as Galio the Devil, and has great strength, he is still frightened by the scene in front of him. The cannon fire was denser than the raindrops, and Golden Lion Shiki fought hard with his sword. Similarly, Robin's shock was no less than Weibo's. Bai Ye, be careful. Out of concern, Luo hurriedly reminded him to be careful day and night. Then, disregarding his own safety, he quickly flew towards Bai Ye. Brother Bai Ye, I will also help you. Seeing this, Weibo was naturally unwilling to lag behind. No, you just stay on Pinnacle DADC and protect the others and Pinnacle. As Bai Ye said, he didn't turn his head back, his palms were facing backwards for fear of losing it. Immediately, Robin and Weibo, who originally wanted to rush to support Bai Ye, felt an unstoppable force of wind and pushed them back. Under the coercion of that force, the two flew back backwards, and then landed firmly on the pinnacle. Brother Bai Ye, how can you do this? Weibo, who didn't understand Bai Ye's intention, was still yelling, but was stopped by Robin. Bai Ye has his reasons for doing this, we just need to watch the show with peace of mind. Robin said thoughtfully. Advertisement. Sure enough, Robin is the one who knows Bai Ye best. Robin said so, Weibo can only compromise naturally. You still have time to talk nonsense, hurry up and get rid of the marine on the ship, and find a way to deal with the shells above your head. Finally, he pulled the iron sword out of the void. Don't blame her. After all, the indiscriminate bombing of the Buster Call fleet, the designated area will be covered by shells, and Pinnacle, as Bai Ye's pirate ship, will naturally be attacked by shells. Boom. On the contrary, Granu was the first to be unable to sit still, jumping up and shouting. Of course, all this is a long story, but it actually happened in just a moment. At this time, the role of Robin is revealed. This time, Bai Ye completely abandoned the dragon-slaying magic, and instead used the purest kendo he had comprehended when fighting Hawkeye, this new sword. As an ability user, although the cannonball restrains her, as long as she doesn't directly touch the cannonball, she will be fine. No way, let me do it. Then, he slashed out with a sword. Boom, boom, I just want to show you what real swordsmanship is. Do not. With Virgo, Monet, and her sugar, there is no way to deal with so many shells. Their only reliance is Robin and Weibo. White bone flying flower order, flower branch of net. Hearing this, Weibo shrugged his shoulders, and didn't care about Granger's tone, and stood up, relying on his huge body to resist the falling shells. Advertisement. Bai Ye's icy voice rang out. Compared with the situation of Peak, the central area where Bai Ye is located, the regiment is the area with the most intensive artillery fire. Golden Lion Shiki is obviously very confident in his shocking sword. Golden Lion Shiki originally thought that Bai Ye would once again cast Dragonslayer Profound Art, Karma, Iron Sword, but he was wrong. Then, with the elastic force of the net, these shells were shot back. Facing the shells that were denser than raindrops, he couldn't resist many shells, and they fell from his arms, fingers, and legs. Die, Bai Ye. Although these shells are specially made, they will bring a devastating blow to the capable person, but Weibo is not a capable person. Of course, Weibo alone is not enough. Although he is big enough, he is also too clumsy. The shells fell on the battleship Buster Call, causing considerable damage to the battleship. No way, no way. Don't you really think that you can resist the old man's Thousand Slice Valley with the scrap metal in your hand? In addition, although these cannonballs could bring harm to Weibo in the past, the current Weibo is different from the past. With the powerful body of the Demon King Galio, the cannonballs falling on him can only bring him some skin trauma. Bai Ye was about to face Golden Lion Shiki's shocking sword, and thousands of shells were about to rain down on his head. However, even at this time, Bai Ye was still calm. Just as thousands of shells flew up, the sword energy from Golden Lion Shiki had already reached Bai Ye's eyes, and Bai Ye was about to be cut in half by the sword energy. At this moment, tens of thousands of shells are about to fall on the pinnacle. However, the battleship, after all, is a steel battleship, which is different from ordinary wooden pirate ships. Even if it is bombarded, it will not be blown up or destroyed so easily. Robin wove a huge net with flower branches and white bones, and caught all the shells that Weibo failed to block. Bai Ye said coldly. 255 The shocking sword that cleaves the entire ocean. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Only by giving up everything is the essence of kendo. If it is said that what Hawkeye comprehends is to simplify the complex, return to the basics, and use the most basic sword moves to exert the most powerful power of swordsmanship, then, Bai Ye's kendo is no move, no sword. Yes, Bai Ye gave up even the most basic sword moves. The iron sword in his hand was also discarded. When this sword was cut out, the iron sword shattered and turned into nothing. What Bai Ye cut out was just a sword energy. If you don't even need a sword, then the quality of the sword is naturally irrelevant. Boom. Bai Ye slashed out with a sword. Golden Lion Shiki watched the iron sword in Bai Ye's hand shatter and disappear with his own eyes, only shock left in his eyes. In an instant, a beam of sword energy split the sky and ground. The sword energy collided with the sword energy from Golden Lion Shiki, and in just an instant, Golden Lion Shiki's sword energy was cut in half, and then, it was destroyed, nothing left. The sword chi cut across Golden Lion Shiki's body, and Golden Lion Shiki felt a chill all over his body. After that, nothing happened. After the sword energy slashed across Golden Lion Shiki, it landed on the sea. What happened next shocked everyone present for the rest of their lives. Advertisement. Boom. There was only a loud noise, and the whole sea, yes, the whole sea, was cut in half by this sword. The huge ravines are cracked, and the sea kings on the bottom of the sea, the ground on the bottom of the sea, and the dark side of the deepest part of the bottom of the sea can even be seen clearly. And these lasted for several seconds. After that, the sea water that was cut by the sword energy poured back crazily, forming a huge scene. This sword affected many pirate ships on the sea, but compared to the panic this sword brought to them, the pirate ships that were taken away were nothing. Yes, compared to the thousands of meters of cracks that Golden Lion Shiki cut on the sea, Bai Ye's sword is truly domineering. The entire surface of the sea was cut open. Let me ask, is there any swordsman in the world who can do it? Even the world's #1 swordsman, Hawkeye, might not be able to do it with the power of the black knife Yi in his hand. That's not to mention, the huge sword energy slashed vertically, and the shells in the air that were denser than raindrops were cut in half when they touched the sword energy. Perhaps, because it was too fast and too sharp, after the cannonball was cut in half, there was no violent explosion in the first time. Immediately afterwards, the sword energy fell on the Buster Call battleship behind. Another shocking scene happened. Whoosh! The steel warships of the Buster Call fleet were cut in half one after another. The tens of centimeters thick steel plates, steel cannons, and people on the battleships were all cut in half. These poor guys didn't even have time to let out a scream until they died. Immediately after, boom! The cut cannonball, which was delayed for a long time, finally exploded, and along with the battleship that was cut in half, the explosion occurred. Advertisement. And the first shell exploded in the air, and a chain reaction occurred, because the density of the shells was too high. Whenever one of them exploded, other shells also exploded violently in the air. Thousands of super cannonballs explode in the air at the same time. This scene can be imagined. Boom, boom, a huge mushroom cloud rises into the sky. The flame instantly turned the sky red. The violent explosion even formed a huge shock wave, which spread in all directions. Even people on the sea below 1,000 meters can clearly feel the heat wave and turbulent energy generated by the explosion. Even the void was blasted into black cracks by this huge explosion. If the explosion hadn't happened in the air, none of them could have escaped. Similarly, the pinnacle, which is at an altitude of 1,000 meters and within the range of the indiscriminate bombing area, is naturally doomed. Fortunately, Bai Ye had the foresight to send Robin and Wable back to protect Pinnacle in advance. The gigantic Wable blocked the energy impact, and Robin combined the flower branch fruit and dead bone pulse to create countless vines, forming a white bone shield, blocking the shock wave. Pinnacle and the people above did not encounter a crisis just now. In addition, when the explosion happened, Bai Ye also manipulated the airflow to protect the Pinnacle, so, in this violent and devastating explosion, Pinnacle was safe and sound. Point 0 for flowers. What's the situation? The people below were stunned. Advertisement. This is simply the end of the world. It is no exaggeration to say that it is hell on earth. Compared with the scene in front of him, the Marine soldiers on the Buster Call battleship looked at the violent explosion, but they were still safe and sound. Even the violent explosion could not hurt him at all. No, they could not even enter his mind. Bai Ye's face showed panic. Bai Ye wiped out almost half of the Buster Call ships with just one blow of his sword. Even if they are the Marine soldiers of the Buster Call battleship, they are trained as death squads. At this moment, seeing the scene in front of them, the firm belief in their hearts was shaken for the first time. Shake violently. Are they really not afraid of death? Do they really have the courage to sacrifice for the so-called justice on their backs? During the previous training, in fact, brainwashing, they firmly believed that they would, and they would give everything, including their lives, for justice. After all, they are Marines who uphold justice in this world. If there were no Marines like them who were willing to sacrifice their lives for justice, what would this pirate-infested world be like? But now, they discovered they were wrong. They are not really ready to show up for the so-called justice. After all, the desire and instinct of survival have overcome their firm belief. Shivering. Of course, this is not the end. Golden Lion Shiki glanced at the sea under his feet. The whole body was cut in half, and the Buster Call fleet had a big explosion in front of him, and his whole body froze. How is it possible? How is it possible that someone can make a new breakthrough in this way, with a sword that breaks the world? Is this really something a swordsman in this world can do? However, what Golden Lion Shiki didn't know was that it was these few seconds of stiffness that made him linger for a few more seconds. In the next second, when the cannonballs fell from the sky, Golden Lion Shiki instinctively wanted to dodge. Suddenly, he had an ominous premonition. 256A generation of legendary pirates, Golden Lion Shiki falls. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Golden Lion Shiki had a premonition that something was wrong, and he immediately wanted to stop his movements. Unfortunately, it's too late. Golden Lion Shiki moved slightly, and suddenly, a stream of blood spurted out, and his whole body was split into two halves in perfect symmetry. All because of the sword that Bai Ye slashed, too fast and too sharp. Therefore, after Golden Lion Shiki was cut in half, he didn't realize that he was already dead. He thought that, for some unknown reason, he was lucky enough to avoid the damage of the sword energy. It's a pity, this sword is unparalleled in the world, how could anyone avoid it? Even if he was the legendary pirate Golden Lion Shiki who was once famous all over the world, he would have to be cut in half by this sword. A generation of legendary pirates, Golden Lion Shiki, has just fallen. Shiki. 280. Rayleigh silently recited the name of this old man, but his face was filled with shock. Rayleigh's swordsmanship is also very good. Just from the fact that he easily cut through Kizaru's laser with one sword and repelled Kizaru, many Hami felt that Rayleigh's swordsmanship should be better than Hawkeye. Regardless of whether this view is true or not, it at least shows that Rayleigh's swordsmanship is indeed very strong. But at this moment, even Pluten Rayleigh was completely shocked by Bai Ye's sword. To be able to slay the Golden Lion Shiki who is as famous as Roger the Pirate King with one sword, in this world, Bai Ye is probably the only one who can do it. Advertisement. As for her Pluten Rayleigh, Rayleigh suddenly felt that he was just an old, bad old man. After a few more years and more than 10 years, the peace of mind will be buried, and the world will let young people like Bai Ye fight for it. How is this possible? Bai Ye is so powerful. Devil, he is simply a devil. In terms of intelligence, Bai Ye is obviously not that powerful, and the report didn't say that he actually knows swordsmanship. What the hell is going on here? On the battleship, those officers who were greedy for life and afraid of death were also shocked by the scene in front of them. With just one sword, he split the sea, killed the Golden Lion Shiki, and destroyed nearly half of the Buster Call battleship. Is this possible for man? You know, this is not one Buster Call fleet, but a total of 5 Buster Call fleets. At this moment, they finally understand why the world calls Bai Ye a devil. This is not what the devil is. However, that doesn't count. Because of the death of the Lion Fruit ability user Golden Lion Shiki, affected by his ability, the battleship floating at an altitude of 1,000 meters naturally fell immediately. It's over. Golden Lion Shiki is dead, we're all over. Damn it, I said it a long time ago, I shouldn't cooperate with unreliable pirates like Golden Lion Shiki, but Vice Admiral didn't listen to my advice. Golden Lion Shiki is a pirate. That's right, Shiki not only didn't play a role, but now it's good, and all of us will be buried with him. Seeing that the battleship was sliding down at an extremely fast speed, the officers were terrified and yelled again. It's a pity that they didn't realize that, in fact, no matter whether they cooperate with Golden Lion Shiki or not this time, if they dare to mess with Bai Ye, they will die. On the contrary, it was the appearance of Golden Lion Shiki that made Bai Ye want to use him to practice his skills, giving them a few more hours to linger. Advertisement. And now, it's time for them to die. They guessed right. Unexpectedly, they didn't fall to death in the sea, but died in Bai Ye's hands first. Why panic? The sword that Bai Ye slashed just now must have consumed a lot of his strength, otherwise, he wouldn't need to eat flames to replenish his strength. Is he going to make a big move? Whoosh. Bai Ye smiled coldly at them, then opened his mouth, eating the flames on his body in one gulp. This point, Vice Admiral is a person who understands, he knows that even Golden Lion Shiki is not Bai Ye's opponent, let alone him. But Bai Ye didn't care about these flames at all, allowing them to burn violently on his body. Just when the officers were in a mess, at this moment, a firm voice suddenly sounded. The person who opened the mouth turned out to be Vice Admiral who was knocked away by Bai Ye's Iron Dragon's steel fist before 5.2. After he was seriously injured by Bai Ye's punch, he was slowed down for a long time before he recovered. 1 second before, Bai Ye was still in the flames of the explosion, and the next second, he disappeared. Suddenly, everyone panicked. An unusual blue flame was burning on Bai Ye's body. This was because the cannonball was specially made by mixing sea stone powder. In the black smoke, people can even smell the strong smell of burnt meat. Now is the only chance to defeat Bai Ye. What is he going to do? Advertisement. Could it be that he wanted to destroy us? Not to mention ordinary people, even if they are capable people, it won't take long for them to be engulfed by the flames, and they will definitely be burned to the point that not even their bones are left. 0. The officer who had planned to abandon the ship and escape at the beginning, saw the demon Bai Ye standing in front of him, and his legs trembled in fright. Amidst the raging fire, there was a sudden darkness. The officer fell asleep and remembered something. This scene is simply not too handsome. According to the records, Bai Ye has often used flames, poison, and even steel before using his ultimate move. When he was going to support Golden Lion Shiki again, it was already a step too late, and Golden Lion Shiki was directly beheaded by Bai Ye with a sword. An officer spoke. This made him even more angry, and couldn't help but glared at the officers, and then said in a deep voice. If this is the case, wouldn't they be doomed while falling in the air? At this moment, Bai Ye, the mixed-colored Han Sha was praised by the blue flames, and the clothes on his body were also broken due to the high temperature of the flames, and even under the flames, they were flying around. That must have left behind. Even if Golden Lion Shiki turned against the water, he could still lead the Buster Call fleet back to the surface of the sea safely. Bai Ye is not stupid. He knows very well that since Vice Admiral dared to cooperate with Golden Lion Shiki, he asked Golden Lion Shiki to send all their warships up to 1,000 meters high. But who knows, not long after turning back to the battleship, they heard the frustrating words of the officers. Therefore, Seeing the remaining 20 or so Buster Call warships falling at an extremely fast speed, Bai Ye has no intention of letting them go. When the Marine soldiers on the battleship came to their senses, Bai Ye had already come to catch up with them. Therefore, he temporarily changed his mind and returned to the battleship on the moon cloth. He knew that Golden Lion Shiki meant that the battleship would definitely fall, and he planned to return to the battleship and preside over the overall situation. 257 Buster Call Fleet's ultimate move, Destroyer Strike. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Listen to my orders. Concentrate all shells to the main cannon, bombard Bai Ye together, and eliminate the demons. Vice Admiral's impassioned speech immediately boosted the morale that had been sluggish. Yes. The Marine soldiers replied in unison. Sound like thunder. Oh, that's interesting, I'd like to see what the hell you're up to. Bai Ye became even more excited when he heard this. Soon, under the command of Vice Admiral, all the warships were arranged in the shape of a herringbone, and aimed their main guns at Bai Ye in unison. This was the devastating blow. They concentrated all the firepower on the battleship on Bai Ye. This blow, if you don't admit it, you will be benevolent. Don't worry, Bai Ye has consumed too much strength, he must not be able to survive this devastating blow. Vice Admiral cheered everyone up again, said. No. That's right. Those few officers who didn't play any role at all, at this moment, can be regarded as playing a little role, and echoed. Vice Admiral didn't respond to them, but 30 raised his arm high, then swung it down violently, and gave the final order. Fire. Following Vice Admiral's life-shattering roar, the main guns of more than 20 battleships spewed out intense firepower. All the firepower gathered together at the battleship in the middle, forming a shockingly huge firepower column. Around the firepower column, the energy surged, and even the void became somewhat distorted. Not to mention the surrounding things. Occasionally, an interesting seabird flew by, and was instantly torn to pieces by the surging energy. However, this is not enough. Advertisement. Fire. With another order, the huge main gun of the main battleship where Vice Admiral was on, after a burst of violent shaking, blasted out a huge azure blue laser. Boom. The laser pierced through the tumbling column of firepower, led all the firepower, and shot towards Bai Ye at a speed that the naked eye couldn't catch. Almost in just an instant, the laser engulfed Bai Ye. The raging firepower caught up later, causing space shocks. All of a sudden, huge space ripples spread out in all directions. The sea is rolling, the waves are roaring. The huge shock wave even overturned many small pirate ships directly. People are dumbfounded. Is this the Buster Call Fleet's ultimate means, a devastating blow? The power is too scary, isn't it? Damn it, if we stay here any longer, we will all be affected. In this way, even the demon Bai Ye will die without a place to bury him. Impossible, have you guys forgotten, the shocking sword that Bai Ye slashed just now? The person who can slash such a shocking sword will be wiped out by mere firepower. A joke. It is precisely because of that sword that this possibility is possible. Didn't you hear what Vice Admiral said? He said that the shocking sword that Bai Ye used just now consumed too much of his strength. Recovery, now is the best time to destroy him. FK your mother, blueprint for big ears. Do you think anyone has as good hearing as you? There was a lot of discussion. The last resort of the Buster Call Fleet was to destroy the terrifying power of the blow, making people feel that Bai Ye, who was engulfed by the laser fire, is probably doomed this time. There are only a few pirates who seem to be Bai Ye's die-hard fans, but 4 firmly believe that Bai Ye, the most painful demon, cannot be defeated so easily. Coincidentally, the pirate on the boat on which Rayleigh boarded is Bai Ye's die-hard fan. Advertisement. Ray. Mr. Rayleigh, do you think Bai Ye will be okay? A young pirate couldn't help asking. Yeah, Mr. Rayleigh, Bai Ye shouldn't. Others, the same Z. Well, isn't the result obvious? Rayleigh stroked his chin and spoke. As he spoke, he signaled everyone with his eyes to continue paying attention to the center of the firepower. When everyone heard the words, they looked up one after another. It doesn't matter if you don't look at it, Ree is startled. Following Rayleigh's gaze, everyone looked at the center of the firepower, that is, the place where Bai Ye was swallowed by the laser. At this time, they just discovered something wrong. While the flames were stirring, a white dot appeared at the center of the most ferocious firepower. In just an instant, the white dot began to expand, and soon, it expanded to the point where people could clearly see it with the naked eye. It's Bai Ye. His body seems to be wrapped by an invisible air current, which completely isolates the laser and flames. Not only that, Bai Ye was still chewing something in his mouth. At first people didn't see clearly, but later, people saw clearly. Bai Ye is actually eating lasers and firepower. Yes, that incomparable laser, that firepower enough to destroy everything. Unexpectedly Bai Ye tore off a large piece, just like tearing a cake, and then threw it into his mouth and started chewing. Seeing this scene, everyone was dumbfounded. Is that okay? Even if Bai Ye can eat all kinds of things and energy similar to the abilities he has mastered, and transform them into his own energy. Advertisement. However, this is the last resort of the Buster Call battleship. This is a devastating blow. The destructive energy, even Bai Ye can swallow it. People can't even believe what they see, but the facts are the facts. Wahahaha. That's all. 5 Buster Call fleets, that's all. After Bai Ye ate the laser, he laughed wildly. Immediately afterwards, he suddenly launched an attack. If that's the case, then you all go to die. Remember to tell 5 elders a word before you die, don't mess with Bai Ye before you are fully prepared. As Bai Ye said, against the laser and firepower, he rushed towards the Buster Call fleet. Boom. Bai Ye turned into a ray of light, wherever he passed, lasers, firepower, and energy were scattered by him one after another. At this moment, Bai Ye is invincible. No. As expected of Big Brother Bai Ye. Seeing this situation, Weibo even stuttered excitedly. This is too handsome. What? Originally, he was 90% confident that Bai Ye's Vice Admiral could be wiped out with the devastating blow of the Buster Call fleet. Seeing this, his expression changed dramatically. The officers standing behind Vice Admiral turned pale with fright at this moment. They regretted it, they shouldn't have volunteered to come here for military exploits before. It's not good to offend anyone, but the devil Bai Ye, are they impatient? It's a pity that there is no medicine for regret in this world, and it is too late for them to regret it just now. 258 The 5 Buster Call fleets were wiped out without any survivors. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Iron Dragon Slayer Magic. Thunder Dragon Slayer Magic. Poison Dragon Slayer Magic. Fire Dragon Slayer Magic. The hot hell of the Purgatory Dragon. Following Bai Ye's shocking roar, he punched out with a punch that was already ready to go. Bang. In an instant, heaven and earth shattered. A flame surged out and spread instantly, and the raging flames soared into the sky. A huge wall of fire envelops all Buster Call battleships, forming a fiery hell from which they cannot escape. What is this? At this moment, even Vice Admiral, who has always been steady, panicked. Quick, activate the energy shield. Vice Admiral hurriedly ordered. Damn it, it seems that this is the only way to do it. Vice Admiral clearly knew that using this move would greatly consume his lifespan, especially if he was injured, but at this moment, he had no choice but to do so. With the energy shields of all warships turned on, all warships are connected together by their energy passports. At the same time, Vice Admiral slapped his hands hard on the steel deck. In an instant, energy visible to the naked eye surged out. Advertisement. Absolute defense. The Gate of Heaven. Vice Admiral roared. A boundless barrier was erected in front of all the battleships in an instant, isolating them from Bai Ye. No one thought that Vice Admiral turned out to be an ability user, and the ability he controlled was the superior fruit of Bartolomeo's barrier fruit, the absolute defense fruit. Isn't it? Is this the absolute defense fruit that claims to have the most powerful defense in the superpower system? Unexpectedly, it actually appeared on a Marine Vice Admiral. Seeing this, people were shocked. This is the ability of absolute defense. It is said that it can resist any attack. Of course, precisely because of its almost invincible defense, once cast, it can withstand almost any powerful attack, so this ability also has extremely strong side effects. That is, every time the ultimate defensive move, Heaven's Gate, is used, the lifespan of the capable person will be consumed as a price. This is why Vice Admiral is not willing to use it lightly until the last minute. If Bai Ye's, Lian Yulong's Hot Hell, is an absolute attack, then Vice Admiral's, Gate of Heaven, is an absolute defense. Absolute attack versus absolute defense, people are curious, this time, who will win and who will lose. However, just when people were looking forward to it, something unexpected happened. The raging flames rolled forward, and it was no surprise that they were easily blocked by the transparent Gate of Heaven. Just when Bai Ye's fist hit the Gate of Heaven. Click, click, the Gate of the Kingdom of Heaven, known as the Absolute Defense, suddenly cracked countless cracks, and immediately there was a crisp sound of breaking, and the Gate of the Kingdom of Heaven was completely torn apart. Wow. Vice Admiral spat out a mouthful of old blood. No. Impossible. How could my absolute defense be broken so easily? Vice Admiral was stunned. He suddenly thought of something, and his heart was suddenly occupied by deep fear. Advertisement. Although absolute defense is called absolute defense, in fact, it is not absolute, but relative. The absolute defense of the absolute defense fruit also has a prerequisite, that is, the strength is less than 50 times stronger than the capable person's attack, and the capable person can defend it. But once it exceeds, it can still break the absolute defense of the ability user. Although Vice Admiral's position is Vice Admiral, but from the fact that he can serve as the commander of 5 Buster Call fleets, his strength is definitely at the Admiral level. He is Admiral, so Bai Ye's strength is 50 times stronger than Admiral. What is this concept? At this moment, Vice Admiral doubted the whole world. In this world, is there really such a powerful human being? Are you sure it's still a human, not a demon? Is this the strongest demon in the new era? No matter how strong the wind and waves are, they may capsize at any time, and they are gone. None survived. Bai Ye was very puzzled. It's like, just doing a trivial thing. Originally, they thought that Vice Admiral could at least withstand Bai Ye's blow with its absolute defense, but they never expected that even with absolute defense, they were still vulnerable to Bai Ye's absolute strength. As long as the attack is 50 times stronger than him, his absolute defense can be broken. Then, he punched hard with his fist. The boundless flames engulfed more than 20 Buster Call teams in an instant. There was a lot of discussion. After a long time, people just came to their senses. Pluton Rayleigh. That, we met. Advertisement. Bai Ye's own strength is not too much stronger than Vice Admiral, so isn't it simple that this punch that condenses all kinds of dragon-slaying magical powers is 50 times stronger than Vice Admiral? No, isn't the scene we're seeing happening in the air right now the hell? Rayleigh greeted Dao Gang with Bai Ye very accommodatingly. Underworld Emperor Bai Ye, well, that's a good title. In other words, until this moment, the 5 Buster Call fleets have all been wiped out. It's not that he has a bad memory, but that a lot of things have happened this year, and he has met many important people, so he forgot that he is normal. Bai Ye, I haven't seen you for a long time, don't worry about it. Immediately afterwards, there were more than 10 or 20 explosions in the flame hell. If they were afraid of death, they would not have followed the Buster Call fleet before. And Bai Ye's move, the hot hell of the Flame Dragon King, combined the attacks of 4 kinds of dragon-slaying magic, plus the blessing of the dragon-slaying magic of the sky, the power can be imagined. What a demon, he's a Pluton from hell. Rayleigh was also worried that when he caught up with Pinnacle it was still flying in the air. Of course, Vice Admiral made a mistake, that is, it doesn't mean that Bai Ye's strength must be 50 times stronger than him in order to break through his absolute defense. Bai Ye didn't care about Sa Tang, Monet and others who were looking at him in shock, and just said, the troubles are solved, let's go. They were just shocked that Bai Ye was so powerful that it was unreasonable. Boom. Absolute defense. Oh, this is absolute defense. Zhao Qinhao and Bai Ye, after destroying the Golden Lion Shiki and the unbranched Buster Call fleet, returned to open black lens bracket peek close black lens bracket indifferently. But fortunately, by the time they caught up, Peeker had already returned to the surface of the sea. Undoubtedly, that was the sound of battleships exploding one after another. The pirates below were shocked. Bai Ye smiled coldly. 259 Pluton Rayleigh's visit. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Former Marine Marshal Sengoku, Marine Hero Garp, 4 Emperors, 3 Admiral, and now Golden Lion Shiki, etc. During this year, Bai Ye met too many powerful people, and he couldn't remember whether he had met someone who had never fought against him, and that was normal. It's definitely not the author who wrote it later. I forgot whether Bai Ye and Rayleigh met before, absolutely not. However, when others heard the words, they didn't think so. Rayleigh was speechless when he heard the words. When the pirates on the pirate ship that Rayleigh was on heard, they looked at Bai Ye with incredulous eyes. Bai Ye naturally didn't think there was anything wrong with what he said, but from the ears of these pirates, Bai Ye obviously knew Pluton Rayleigh, but he asked if they had met before. Is it in this pretend move, girl? It's understandable that you don't remember the old man, after all, we only met briefly during the Summit War. On the contrary, Rayleigh didn't care so much, and found a way for himself to step down. So we met. For Rayleigh, Bai Ye's impression comes more from the original book, knowing that he is the right arm of Roger, the One Piece King, and he is an amazing character. Other than that, nothing much. However, at this moment, Rayleigh's free-spiritedness and gentle manners did not give him a condescending look at all because of his seniority, but Bai Ye left a good impression on him, so he simply invited him. Here comes the ship. In that case, if Mr. Rayleigh doesn't mind, come up and do it and have a drink. Bai Ye invited. The old man has exactly this intention. Rayleigh naturally readily agreed. Plop, plop. Rayleigh was about to jump onto the peak. At this moment, the group of pirates behind him suddenly all knelt on the ground. Advertisement. What's happening here? Rayleigh was dumbfounded. Mr. Rayleigh, please take us with you. The pirates asked in unison. This made Rayleigh even more confused. He didn't know that these pirates were all loyal fans of Bai Ye. If they could meet Bai Ye at a close distance with Rayleigh's blessing, they would die without regret. After all, Rayleigh took their ship and put them at risk, so it's not good for them. Therefore, he could only look at Bai Ye. Whatever, they want to come too, so let's bring them up together. Bai Ye doesn't care about authenticity. Really. It's so good, Bai Ye, you are our idol. The pirates cheered happily. DJB. Bai Ye suddenly felt a little regretful. In his previous life, what he hated most were some idols. No way, who made some idols do it, and made idol a derogatory term. But he never expected that with the rise of his popularity in this world, one day, he himself would become an idol among others. If he had known earlier that these pirates were his fans, Bai Ye really wouldn't have let them aboard. Advertisement. But the words have already been spoken, what else can I do? Soon, Rayleigh boarded the peak with these pirates. Due to the large size of the peak, several pirates boarded it successfully with the help of Rayleigh. It can be seen that the strength of this group of pirates is not very good, no wonder they are unknown. Of course, those few people are not ruled out. They are navigators and chefs on the ship, so it is understandable that their own strength is not good. The Karoo Pirates. Rayleigh and the pirates had just boarded the Pinnacle when Nami's voice, who had never been present, suddenly sounded. Are you, Miss Nami, and Miss Robin? A female member of the pirates, also recognized Nami, and even Robin. What's the matter? Bai Ye was a little curious. It's like this, Robin and Bai Ye explained. After Luo, Daka, Bin's explanation, Bai Ye finally understood that the original Karoo pirates were pirates that the Straw Hat Pirates had encountered in the waters near Alabasta before. The so-called Karoo is named after Alabasta's very powerful Karoo troops. Yes, that is the big yellow duck that Princess Vivi rode. It's just that after the Straw Hat Pirates settled the Alabasta matter, they never met again. Unexpectedly, I met here. While Robin and Nami were chatting with those pirates and had no time to pester themselves, they chatted with Rayleigh day and night. Unexpectedly, I haven't seen you for a year, and you have grown to this point. At the Summit War, I had a premonition that you would be the existence that will subvert this world. Advertisement. Now it seems that the old man's premonition was correct. It's just that, Bai Ye, if you slaughtered the 5 Buster Call fleets like this, are you really not afraid that the world government will seek revenge on you? You must know that the world government and the marine government are not at the same level. When Rayleigh said this, he paused and just looked at Bai Ye. Hey, if I was afraid of the world government, I wouldn't have appeared in the Summit War. Bai Ye sneered. And, I think, the world government has ruled the world for 800 years, which is long enough. It's time for a change of government. Bai Ye said calmly. As soon as this remark came out, not only Rayleigh was stunned, Virgo was stunned, even Robin, Nami and those pirates who were still reminiscing about the past were all stunned. The world government has ruled the world long enough, it's time to change the dynasty. These words, that sentence are not outrageous words. As long as the ubiquitous CP of the world government prevents spies from listening to one of the sentences, it is bound to be a disaster. These words, even Rayleigh, who was the right arm of Roger, the former One Piece king, would not say these words casually. At least, in public, he would not say such things. Unexpectedly, Bai Ye casually uttered this sentence, which was enough to shock the whole world. No wonder, everyone on board was shocked when they heard the news. In the end, it was Rayleigh who reacted first. Wahaha, as expected of you, Bai Ye, it seems that the old man is right. Rayleigh picked up the wine on the table and drank it down. It's just that when that time comes, please be the first to tell this old man. This old man is looking forward to it. You will overthrow the world government and completely end this era of corruption to the bone. Bai Ye dared to say that, and Rayleigh, who was once the right arm of One Piece, didn't care so much anymore. 260 Robin. Bai Ye, we may have to change course. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Anyway, he didn't say these words, he just echoed a few words at most. The world government will not punish him for this, will it? The chat with Rayleigh didn't last long. After half an hour, Rayleigh got up to leave. However, before Rayleigh left, Bai Ye made a request that he wanted to fight him. Bai Ye does not intend to let go of any chance to compete with the top powerhouses, especially the experience bar of blood inheritance, which has reached more than 70%. I believe that as long as you continue to fight against the top powerhouses, the experience points will soon be full. Already. When Rayleigh heard this, he was a little surprised at first, but soon he understood why Bai Ye made this request. Yes, Rayleigh knew very well that Bai Ye wanted to become strong now, so he readily agreed. Peak stopped at a long distance from a deserted island, and both Bai Ye and Rayleigh arrived at the island. Just walking through the air on the sea surface has already demonstrated the considerable strength of the two of them. After that, a thrilling and fierce battle broke out on the island. The specific situation is unknown. Because after the battle started, the entire island was enveloped by flames, thunder, sword energy, and strong winds. This battle seems to be even more exciting than Bai Ye's previous battle with the Golden Lion Shiki. However, if you haven't seen it with your own eyes, who knows? People only know that 2 hours later, the not-so-small deserted island sank into the bottom of the sea with a loud noise. Isn't it? No way. Is the old man really so powerful? Galio looked at the deserted island sunken in the bottom of the sea under the shroud of energy of various attributes, and couldn't help but speak in shock. Well, brother Bai Ye will be okay. Nami even had some, but the mood Bai Ye came. Advertisement. After all, Bai Ye had just made a big move to deal with the Golden Lion Shiki and the 5 Buster Call fleets. It stands to reason that even if he is strong, he has to take a good rest before he has the strength to deal with a strong like Pluton Rayleigh. However, Bai Ye didn't. He only rested for half an hour at most, and then fought with Rayleigh again. No wonder, Nami will worry about Bai Ye. Don't worry, Bai Ye will be fine. Robin has great confidence in Bai Ye. Oh, I can tell, Robin, you really trust brother Bai Ye. A sly smile flashed across Nami's bright eyes. In the past, Robin might not have noticed, but now what kind of strength Robin is, the sly smile flashed in Nami's eyes, and naturally it did not escape her eyes. She immediately understood what Nami meant. Although Nami cleared the relationship between Robin and Bai Ye, after all, Robin never mentioned it directly to her. Now, being told by Nami, Robin is actually a little shy. Seeing Robin's pretty face flushed, Nami was even more convinced that she was right. It seems that Robin is really deeply in love with Bai Ye. However, if you think about it, that's right. Based on what she has seen of Bai Ye in the past 2 days, he is indeed a very charismatic man. In addition, I have heard all kinds of amazing rumors about him before, let alone Robin, who has been with Bai Ye for a year. Even Nami, who has only met for the first time, feels a little heartbroken. Of course, having said that, she is a principled girl, since Robin fell in love with Bai Ye first. Then, as Robin's best friend and companion, she naturally would not have any unreasonable thoughts. Sure enough, Robin was right. Soon after the island sank, two figures came out from the thick smoke. They were Bai Ye and Rayleigh. Advertisement. The two don't talk, and no one knows who will win this battle, but judging from the clothes of the two, Bai Ye's clothes are still clean and tidy, and they are elegant. On the other hand, Rayleigh's clothes are a bit torn and messy. After Bai Ye and Rayleigh walked out of the thick smoke, they looked at each other, and then they laughed and returned to the peak together. It can be seen that in this fight, the two had a great time fighting. Whether there is a winner or loser is completely unimportant. It's important to play fast enough. Just like that saying. Pain is not important, happiness is important. Bai Ye, in particular, is even more satisfied with the harvest of this battle. After this battle with Rayleigh, the progress bars of Bloodline Inheritance and Iron Dragon Slayer magic are almost full. It is estimated that as long as there is another battle, both can be completed. 0 for flowers. Of course, Bai Ye understands a truth, that is, haste makes waste. The more you look at a matter, the more it will be completed, the more you can't rush it at this moment. Once you rush too much, all previous efforts may be wasted. Bai Ye fought with Golden Lion Shiki and Vice Admiral one after another, and then, facing the devastating blow of the Buster Call fleet, he used the ultimate move, the Burning Hell of the Flame Dragon King, to destroy 5 Buster Call fleets. Then there was another fight with Pluton Rayleigh. Although, the sum of these still does not exceed the current Bai Ye's load, but Bai Ye is very clear that these are enough, and he still understands the principle of haste makes waste. 0. Then, that's it, see you in the future. Rayleigh sighed, and said. Advertisement. In this way, the two sides parted ways. Bai Ye continued to head towards South Blue, while Rayleigh boarded the pirate ship of the Karoo Pirates and headed back to Sabayati Archipelago. Unexpectedly, the dignified Pluton Rayleigh is so easy to get along with. Looking at the back of the departing ship of the Karoo Pirates, Virgo hesitated for a moment, and said. That is, when our Straw Hat Pirates were in danger of being wiped out by Kizaru, Mr. Rayleigh saved us. Robin said truthfully. Pluton. When I first heard this nickname, I thought he would be a villain like the Golden Lion Shiki and the Demon Bai Ye. While eating the grapes, Granu puffed out his cheeks and muttered. Recalling the panic that Bai Ye brought her back then, Satang was very angry. Can this involve me too? Bai Ye was speechless. Why can't you be involved, and that pirate, who is more vicious than you, a devil? Granu turned around, ignored Bai Ye, and said angrily. Well, let's not talk about this, let's move on to the next destination, Trino Kingdom. Bai Ye changed the subject. That Bai Ye, maybe we need to change the sailing route. Robin hesitated, but spoke anyway. Work. 261 Kingdom of Trino, Island of Giant Birds. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Why? Bai Ye was very puzzled. Robin and Nami glanced at each other, and after that, the two talked to each other and told Bai Ye exactly what they had just said to the pirates of the Karoo Pirates. It turned out that the two of them got a piece of news from the members of the Karoo Pirates, that is, Alabasta seemed to be in a crisis again recently. And this crisis seems to be related to a shocking secret hidden in Alabasta. Robin and Nami don't care about Alabasta's shocking secret, what they care about is the safety of Princess Vivi. You know, although Princess Vivi is not an official member of the Straw Hat Pirates, she has an agreement with the Straw Hat Pirates, and she is an eternal partner of the Straw Hat Pirates. So, knowing that, 960, knows that their partners may be in danger at any time, how can Robin and Nami sit still? Hearing this, Bai Ye fell into deep thought. Bai Ye knows that Princess Vivi is the forever partner of Straw Hat crew, so he knows why Robin and Nami are so worried about Princess Vivi. However, Alabasta is on the Grand Line, and they have now left the Grand Line, have entered the South Blue Sea area, and are on their way to the Kingdom of Trino. If we turn back to the Grand Line now, the journey of these few days will be in vain. Moreover, the most important thing is that this place is not far from the Kingdom of Trino, and at the speed of Pinnacle it will only take about a day's journey. It's not a good idea to give up going to the Trinor Kingdom now and turn back to the Grand Line. Although Bai Ye knew very well that Robin and Nami were very worried about Princess Vivi, but he still felt that it would be better to go to Trino Kingdom first, meet Chopper, and then return to the Grand Line to Alabasta. In this regard, after a short thought, Bai Ye proposed a compromise. Advertisement. I know the two of you are concerned about Princess Vivi's safety, but it will take time and effort to turn back to the Grand Line now. Let's go to Trino Kingdom first, and after meeting Chopper, we will go to Alabasta. Don't worry, Princess Vivi is more tenacious than you imagined. Besides, after dealing with the affairs of Trino Kingdom, if you are really worried, it's a big deal, we will fly over directly. Bai Ye said nonchalantly. That's right, we can still use your ability to fly directly there. Nami, who had always been worried, smiled when she heard this. Well, it's okay, anyway, I can't be in a hurry. Robin also readily agreed with Bai Ye's idea. Anyway, she really wanted to go and see how her little friend Chopper was doing. A day later, the island of giant birds, Trino Kingdom, is a country where various giant birds live and various rare herbs grow. At this moment, a hockey pirate ship docks at the port. In this era of pirates rampant, it is not something worth making a fuss about when a pirate ship docks at the port. However, the people who came down from the boat made the people on the street stop their hurried steps and stop to watch. Oh my god, so handsome. Is there such a handsome man in this world? As soon as Bai Ye set foot on land, he immediately caused a group of girls and young women to scream. Only. Advertisement. For these girls and young women dressed in aboriginal clothes, wearing closed rings made of bones, clothes made of animal skins and giant bird feathers, and carrying bamboo baskets on their heads, Bai Ye said that he was not blessed. This is too wild. It's terrible. It's terrible. These two fairies are too big. No, they are too beautiful. The pair of sisters in the back are not bad, they are so beautiful. The aboriginal men, no less than those aboriginal girls and young women, were fascinated by the beauty of Robin, Nami, and Monet, especially the sugar, which was eaten by men, women and children. Oh my god, that bear girl is too cute. Bear girl. Granu almost ran away, trying to turn all the residents of the island into toys, but fortunately, she was stopped by her sister Monet. Who made you like wearing a bear suit, and blamed others for giving you strange nicknames? Monet said helplessly. Let's go quickly. As far as I know, Chopper should have been photographed in the center of the island, and there is still a long distance from the port. Bai Ye said. Well, big brother Bai Ye, this is a huge island and a country. It's not that easy for us to find Chopper, right? Nami was a little worried about this. Do not worry. Bai Ye gave Nami a smile. Then, he closed his eyes and activated the dragon-slaying magic in the sky. A gust of wind blew across the entire island, and soon, Bai Ye found his target. I found it. Let's go. I will take you to Pakistan now. Advertisement. After Bai Ye opened his eyes, he said. What? Nami still didn't understand, but Robin signaled her that it doesn't matter if she doesn't understand, just keep up. Sure enough, everyone followed in Bai Ye's footsteps, and soon found Chopper in an ancient tribe in the center of Giant Bird Island. The Aborigines of the ancient tribe living here are different from the Aborigines who live in the port and are used to seeing outsiders. When they saw Bai Ye and his party, they immediately became nervous. Babbling in the native language, they were about to fight Bai Ye and the others. Fortunately, at this moment, Chopper noticed some movement and saw companions Robin and Nami among the outsiders. Only then did he use the native language he mastered to communicate with the natives, avoiding a fight. Robin, Nami, how did you end up here? I'm not happy to see you, I mean it. Chopper touched 3.6 on the back of his head with his hoof and said happily. It really was the original formula, and it really was that Chopper, who was so happy that he was about to cry, but he insisted that he was not happy. Then there's no need to say, of course it's because we care about you, that's why we went so hard to find you in this place where you don't want to shit. Nami said sincerely. Don't birds shit? No, there are many giant birds shitting in this place, and because of this, many rare herbs grow. Nami, I'm really touched by you saying that. Chopper was almost moved to tears. However, Nami's next sentence almost made him cry. Chopper, I heard that there are a lot of diamonds, pearls, and agates in the indigenous tribes, right? 262 Granu. I don't care, you are a civet cat. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Indigenous tribes just treat these diamonds, pearls, and agates as useless decorations. You have such a good relationship with them, so you must be able to get me a lot of diamonds, pearls, and agates for free, right? Nami's bright eyes, completely turned into coin symbols. Sure enough, a beautiful woman can't change her greed for money. Well, it's not very good. When Chopper heard this, his face was covered with cold sweat. Why is it not so good? You know, because our Straw Hat Pirates have two big appetites, Luffy and Zoro, the food expenses have always been tight. If we can't get the food expenses again, let alone reunion next year, I guess it will be because of this. Disband. For diamonds, pearls, and agates, Nami simply said nonsense. What? Want to disband? Don't. Chopper was really scared to cry this time. I said Nami, can you stop scaring Chopper? Don't worry, we are here just to see how you are doing now. Robin couldn't stand it anymore, Taguchi said. 30 inches really? Really? Chopper dubiously said. Civet cat. Nami's troubles had just been resolved, but Granos came out to make trouble again. She looked at Chopper, her big bright eyes were full of longing. Seeing this scene, everyone understood feelings. This girl regarded Chopper as a cute pet like a civet cat. It can be seen from her little bear dress that she likes small animals very much, especially when she sees a cute pet Like Chopper, she can't put it down. Advertisement. Ah, I'm not a civet cat, I'm an elk. Chopper heard this, and immediately explained in a panic. What's the difference? Tanuki. However, Granos is unyielding and believes that Chopper is the civet cat. Here, grapes. Granu handed the grapes strung on his fingers to Chopper. Thank you. Chopper was embarrassed to refuse, so he could only take one and ate it. Is it delicious, civet cat? Sugar asked cutely. I told you, I'm not a civet cat. Chopper wants to cry but has no tears. She wanted to leave, but was grabbed by Granos, and then hugged her in her arms like a doll. Let me go. Chopper struggled non-stop, but it was a pity that the little boy, Sa Tang, didn't listen at all. Everyone was ashamed when they saw this. But there is no way, as Granos is the favorite of the group, everyone dotes on her. As long as they don't do things like turn Chopper into a toy, they can only turn a blind eye. Fortunately, Granos didn't make trouble out of no reason. She just wanted to hold Chopper, but she didn't disturb the chatting between him, Robin and Nami. Under Chopper's recommendation, Bai Ye and others met the elders of this indigenous tribe. He is also the only one in the entire tribe who can speak the common language of the outside world. Advertisement. When Chopper first came to the island of giant birds, it was he who taught Chopper the local Aboriginal language. Knowing that Bai Ye and others are friends of Chopper, the local Aborigines gave up the idea of arresting Bai Ye and others and stewing them in a pot. Because it was getting late, everyone decided to stay on the island of giant birds for one night. The local Aborigines were quite hospitable, and they invited Bai Ye and the others to have a big barbecue meal. What kind of meat is this? It's delicious. Everyone ate barbecue and drank a kind of herbal juice made by the local Aborigines, feeling very comfortable. Really, you also think the human meat feast is delicious, right? The elder said with a smile. What? Human flesh? Nami almost spat out. Don't spray it out. The elder was just joking. The white meat is actually the meat of a large local wild boar. Chopper hurriedly explained. Ha ha ha. The elders and the local Aborigines burst into laughter. At this point, everyone understood that the local Aborigines were not the cannibals as rumored by the outside world. On the contrary, they were cheerful and hospitable. After dinner, Chopper chatted with Robin and Nami for a while. After learning of Bai Ye's identity, Chopper couldn't say how shocked he was. Even in such an isolated primitive tribe, Chopper still heard of Bai Ye's name. Chopper's personality is actually very similar to Luffy's. Luffy has long regarded Bai Ye as his idol, so Chopper is naturally inevitable. Advertisement. After all, Bai Ye saved Luffy's brother Ace in the Summit War. Luffy's brother is his Chopper's brother. Bai Ye saved his Chopper's brother, how could Chopper be grateful? Thinking of seeing his idol with his own eyes, Chopper was even more excited than seeing Transformers with his own eyes. Mr. Bai Ye, may I touch you? Chopper said a little nervously but looking forward to it. Bai Ye was a little speechless, but nodded in agreement. By the way, Chopper, I heard from Robin and Nami that you have developed a drug that can disrupt the deformation wavelength of Zone Devil Fruit. It is called Blue Wave Ball. I wonder if you can take it out and let me see it. Bai Ye said suddenly. Chopper, who was approaching Bai Ye cautiously and trying to touch Bai Ye's arm with his hoof, was startled when he heard this. Of course, but Mr. Bai Ye, why are you interested in blue wave balls? Aren't you a Logia capable? Chopper was very puzzled, but he still took out a blue wave ball and handed it to Bai Ye. Although the name is called Rambo Ball, the Rambo Ball is not blue, but a yellow pill. 830 As far as Bai Ye knows, Blue Wave Ball is a drug that can disturb the deformation wavelength of Zone Devil Fruit. It was researched by Chopper, but the effect is only 3 minutes. 7 additional transformation stages can be spawned. After taking Chopper, it can temporarily have the abilities of weight strengthening, jumping strengthening, fur strengthening, wrist strengthening, brain strengthening, horn strengthening, and leg strengthening. However, this drug is a dramatic drug. If you take the second pill within 6 hours, you will not be able to control the deformation wavelength. When you take the third pill, you will lose consciousness, and the devil fruit will start to run wild and become a giant monster. Although it has extremely powerful destructive power, but because it cannot control the power, the vitality will drop rapidly. If the antidote is not given quickly or the capable person is pushed into the sea, sea stone can also be used to make devil fruit incapacitated or stop his actions, he will die. There will be danger to life. Therefore, Blue Wave Ball is a dangerous drug even for Chopper himself. Except for his trustworthy companions, he would never easily show the Rambo Ball to others. That is to say, besides adoration, he also trusts Bai Ye very much. In addition, Chopper only learned to control his rampage after arriving in New World. In other words, he probably hasn't found a way to control the rampage now, or, it is here that he has found a way to control the rampage. 263 Underrated Medical Genius Chopper. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Thinking of this, Bai Ye felt that he might be able to help. System. Analyze the medicinal ingredients, pharmacology and medicinal properties of Rambo Ball. Bai Ye injected a trace of energy into the Blue Wave Ball, and said to the system in his mind. Yes. A voice sounded in my mind, and immediately after, a few lines of text appeared on the data panel. Analysis object. Rumble ball. Analyzing. Analysis completed. Analysis results. Blue wave ball is a pill made from devil fruit that has been bitten off and has lost its effect, combined with various herbs such as blue wormwood and yellow wormwood. Because it contains the gene of devil fruit, it can affect the transformation wavelength of zone devil fruit, thus adding 7 transformation stages to the transformation, and the drug effect lasts for 3 minutes. Pharmacology. Medicinal properties. Looking at the dense analysis results, Bai Ye didn't even need to look at them seriously, the analysis results had already been sent to his mind. Knowing the pharmacology, medicine and working principle of blue wave ball, Bai Ye can't help but marvel. Chopper is actually a neglected medical genius, who can research the medicine to control the deformation wavelength of zone devil fruit. You know, the bloodline factor researched by the chief scientist of the world government Vegapunk, that is, the life design map, isn't it just changing the human gene and combining it with the devil fruit's gene to forcibly create a new generation of capable people, new human beings? And Chopper, relying on drugs, has actually done this. However, Chopper only used drugs to change the deformation wavelength, and did not destroy the human body's genes, so once the effects of the drugs faded, the capable person will return to its original state. This is both a disadvantage and an advantage. But in any case, based on the sanctity of life, Chopper's blue ball is obviously easier for people to accept than the blood factor. Advertisement. Fortunately, the blue wave ball researched by Chopper is only for his own use, and even can only change the deformation wavelength of zone devil fruit, but cannot change the deformation wavelength of super energy system and Logia devil fruit. Otherwise, he probably would have become the next target of the world government after Vegapunk. But having said that, after all, the blue wave ball was researched by Chopper alone. Personal ability is limited, so the blue wave ball has some huge shortcomings. After eating 3 balls in a row, it will become a monster and go berserk. But this point, for Bai Ye who has a system to help, is completely trivial. System: find out how to control the rampage caused by taking rumble balls continuously. Bai Ye ordered. Okay, host. The system obeys. It only took a second, and the problem that Chopper hadn't solved was overcome by Bai Ye, system. Mr. Bai Ye, are you okay? After Chopper saw Bai Ye got the blue wave ball, he couldn't help saying without saying a word. Oh, I'm fine. Only then did Bai Ye come to his senses, and gave Lan Bu to Yiba. That's the end of it. If Mr. Bai Ye doesn't mind, it doesn't matter if I give you this Rambo ball. Chopper scratched the back of his head and said. That's what he said, but he still took the blue wave ball very quickly. After all, the blue wave ball is a kind of dramatic medicine, and he is still worried that after Bai Ye gets it, he will use him to do something. At that time, it will cause a rampage and it will be bad if he cannot control it. Advertisement. You don't need to give it to me. But having said that, Rumble Ball is indeed a very interesting drug, but unfortunately, it has a huge disadvantage. Bai Ye said calmly. Yes. Chopper was a little downcast when he heard this. This was a problem he had always wanted to overcome, but had never been able to overcome. Seeing Chopper's dejected look, Bai Ye was even more sure that he hadn't overcome the problem of rampage. Immediately, Bai Ye stopped hiding and said directly, actually, I have already found a solution to this problem. What, have you found a solution? Chopper looked at Bai Ye with a look of disbelief. However, you don't even know the ingredients, pharmacology, and properties of the medicine. How did you find a solution? Chopper was clearly in disbelief. Who said I didn't know? The moment you handed the blue wave ball to me just now, I have already analyzed its medicinal composition, pharmacology and medicinal properties. Bai Ye said. Really? Really? If these words came from someone else's mouth, Chopper wouldn't believe them to death, but when they came out of Bai Ye's mouth, he was a little dubious. Of course it's true. Don't tell me you still can't trust me. How about this? Let's go outside to find an open place, you swallow 3 blue wave balls, and I'll teach you how to control the rampage. Bai Ye said with confidence. Take 3 Rambo balls. This. Chopper hesitated for a moment. However, when Chopper set his eyes on Robin, Robin gave him a positive look. Advertisement. Don't worry, Chopper, you just do what you want, what Big Brother Bai Ye says is never wrong. Robin bit his lip, and promised. Although she was also very puzzled, how could Bai Ye have analyzed such complicated information about the medicinal ingredients, pharmacology, and medicinal properties of Lanbo Ball in just a few seconds after taking over Lanboan? But, to her, Bai Ye is an omnipotent existence, so she naturally believes in Bai Ye's words. After all, Bai Ye even possesses the ability of blood inheritance, which should not belong to this world, what else can he not? With Robin's affirmation, Chopper naturally no longer doubted. Immediately, everyone went to the field, found a decent, open place, and started the experiment. Well, the rest of you, do you want to back off? Once I eat 3 Rambo balls, I will go berserk and become a monster, unable to control myself. Chopper was still a little worried before eating the Rambo ball. He wasn't worried that he would turn into a monster and go berserk, but that he would hurt other people when he went berserk. Don't worry, with me here, there will be no accidents. Bai Ye patted his chest and promised to reach 10. With Bai Ye's guarantee, Chopper no longer hesitated, opened his mouth, threw 3 blue wave balls into his mouth, and ate them. Whoa! As Chopper ate 3 blue wave balls, an earth-shattering monster roar rang out. What kind of monster is this? Give me back the tanuki. Seeing this, Granu cried out in fright. Is this the cute civet cat in her arms just now? 264 Teach Chopper how to control Rampage. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. OMG, that's scary. Careful. Nami and Monet couldn't help reminding everyone at the same time. Facing such a terrifying monster, they were still a little scared in their hearts. But other people heard the words, but there was no reaction. Whether it is Bai Ye, Robin, Wable, or even Virgo, they know very well in their hearts that although the out-of-control monsters in front of them are dangerous, they can still deal with them with their strength. The irrational monster immediately attacked Bai Ye, who was closest to it after letting out a roar. Whoa! With a roar, the monster punched Bai Ye down. Seeing this, instead of dodging, Bai Ye jumped up and jumped onto the back of the monster's hand. Chopper, I know you still have a sliver of consciousness, listen up, the next thing you have to do is. Bai Ye integrated the sound into the airflow and sent it to Chopper's ears. Afterwards, under Bai Ye's guidance, Chopper, who was in a runaway state, gradually mastered the way to control the runaway. Half an hour later, Mr. Bai Ye, thank you so much. I can't imagine that I can control myself in this state. Using this method to control the rampage, how did you think of it? Why didn't I think of it? The voice of the monster is still terrifying, like thunder, but from its tone, shy and exaggerated expression, it can be seen that it is exactly the fake Chopper. Well, Shanron has his own tricks. Advertisement. Bai Ye didn't intend to explain too much. Oh, that's how it is. Chopper understood Bai Ye's meaning, so he didn't continue to struggle with this issue. Moreover, the problem of losing control in the runaway state was successfully solved. This is a great joy for Chopper. He is too late to be happy now, so he still has so many thoughts. Isn't it? Chopper has been studying the problem that hasn't been solved for so long, and Brother Bai Ye solved it in a few moments. Nami was shocked by Bai Ye again. At this moment, she looked into Bai Ye's eyes, feeling a little confused. He is simply an omnipotent man. On the contrary, it is Robin, Mona and the 3 daughters of Sugar, who have long been accustomed to this. Early the next morning, Bai Ye and others bid farewell and left the giant bird island. Robin and Nami naturally invited Chopper to leave with them, but Chopper hesitated for a long time, and finally decided to stay on the island of the giant bird DAAC. Firstly, he has not learned all the herbal medicine knowledge from the Aborigines. Secondly, he intends to stay here and become proficient in the method of controlling Rampage. Thirdly, he has made an agreement with the local Aborigines to help them solve the problem if there is a problem between the birds. Before this problem is resolved, he will not leave the island of giant birds. Knowing that Chopper has his own things to do, Robin and Nami naturally did not insist. They planned to tell Chopper that they would go back to Alabasta to help Princess Vivi, but they didn't tell him. After all, after learning about this, with Chopper's kind personality, he will definitely feel very sorry. After bidding farewell to Chopper, everyone embarked on the journey again. What everyone didn't expect was that the person who was most reluctant to leave this time was not Robin, Nami or Chopper, but Sugar. Tunku. Tanuki. Wow. Advertisement. After parting, Granu burst into tears. But it was not an option to let her continue to cry. However, what everyone didn't know was that because of this Sea King's baby, they encountered more troubles on the subsequent journey. Seeing the cute Sea King's baby, Sa Tang burst into tears. Everyone was relieved. Moreover, when it gets angry, it will breathe miraculously and hang upside down in the air, which is also very funny. Seeing the abnormal situation at the port of Alabasta, Robin couldn't help but get nervous. Strange. This is too strange. Even if they don't know me, Nami, they weren't that afraid of pirates before. On the contrary, as a trading port, they should welcome rich and powerful pirates very much. Even the residents of Giant Bird Island thousands of meters away could hear the roar clearly. The residents on the island fell into panic when they heard the terrifying cry. Moreover, this Sea King's baby has an incredible ability, that is, after taking a deep breath, it inflates its belly into a ball, and then floats in the air. But now, open black lens bracket peak close black lens bracket has sailed far away from the port. Where are they going? In desperation, Bai Ye had no choice but to make a move, and caught a baby Sea King's pet from the depth of 10,000 meters, and used it as a pet for Granu. Nami couldn't wait to jump off the pinnacle, and ask the local residents. The baby Sea Kings that Bai Ye caught for Granu is a Sea Kings that resembles a sea lion or a manatee. Even if it leaves the sea, it can still survive well on land. Feelings, she really regards Chopper as her most beloved pet. Obviously, the attack on the port must be caused by pirates. It wasn't just someone who yelled, "Run!" So everyone dispersed. Advertisement. Behind him, at a depth of 10,000 meters, a 3,000-meter level Sea King uttered an earth-shattering roar. You only need to time it, soak it in sea water, and it will not die. This Sea King's baby is really not afraid of life at all, and it didn't take long before he was playing with Granos. The local residents who were looking for food and water in the ruins showed a look of horror when they saw a pirate ship approaching the shore. Bai Ye. However, after getting along a lot, everyone discovered that it turned out that when it was floating, it could also turn its body upright, but usually it seemed to prefer to hang upside down. It is estimated that not long ago, here, there were several groups of pirates, and fierce battles broke out here. Everyone was speechless. Nami was puzzled by this. Soon, everyone arrived at the port of Alabasta. Otherwise, the local residents would not be so wary of the pirate ship. Nothing happened. Indeed, the port of Alabasta at this moment has obvious traces of shelling, the port is dilapidated, and the streets have been turned into ruins. Someone tell me, what the hell happened here? Just when the figure of open black lens bracket peak close black lens bracket disappeared in the vast sea. It's just that when it floats in the air, it's the other way around, and I don't know if it's uncomfortable or not. However, how dare the local residents speak back? 265 Alabasta, Princess Vivi. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. It is estimated that it was the pirates that turned this street into ruins, and it was also the pirates that put the entire country of Alabasta in crisis. That's why they are so vigilant and afraid of pirates. Bai Ye shared his opinion. It seems that it should be a group of powerful pirates who have plunged the entire Alabasta into crisis. However, looking at the first half of the entire Grand Line, who are the powerful pirates? The Golden Lion Shaki, who was running around, was dealt with by him not long ago. The other pirate groups are not to be feared either. Could it be that after Sandcrook Lockdoll escaped from the submarine prison, he made a comeback? This is very possible. However, King Alabasta and the counselor should have received the news that the submarine prison was breached and many dangerous prisoners escaped. Alabasta must have taken precautions after suffering the last catastrophe. Even if Lockdoll wants to make a comeback, I'm afraid it won't be that easy. In order to confirm his guess, Bai Ye once again displayed the ability of God's perspective, the dragon-slaying magic in the sky, but unfortunately, the breeze blew through the entire Alabasta, and Bai Ye did not find any suspicious people, especially Bic Lock Darden. On the contrary, it didn't take long for Bai Ye to lock on the position of Princess Vivi. Originally, Bai Ye's God's perspective can be said to be silent, even an admiral-level powerhouse can't easily detect it. It should be an easy task to secretly lock on Princess Vivi. But for some reason, strange things happened. Advertisement. Princess Vivi seemed to have sensed it, she turned around and glanced at the void. For some reason, there was a feeling of being discovered day and night. No, according to Bai Ye's knowledge, Princess Vivi's strength should not be very good, at least, far inferior to Marine Admiral. However, what Marine Admiral could not detect, Princess Vivi actually noticed, is it possible? Just when Bai Ye was a little confused, Robin's voice sounded. How? Robin knew what Bai Ye was doing, so he asked. Only then did Bai Ye retract his perspective of God, and said, I didn't find anything suspicious. How so? Robin obviously didn't believe it. The port was destroyed, the streets were destroyed, and the surviving residents behaved so weirdly that even a big stupid Wable knew that something big happened in Alabasta. However, in Alabasta, no possible object was found. How is this possible? I don't know either, but it doesn't matter. At least I know that Princess Vivi is fine. After we find Princess Vivi, what happened to Alabasta will naturally become clear. Bai Ye said calmly. Nami was actually very curious, how did Bai Ye know, but now she no longer has the slightest doubt about what Bai Ye said. Point 0 for flowers. He even felt that Bai Ye looked a little familiar, but he couldn't remember where he had seen this handsome and extraordinary young man. Advertisement. No. You can't. You are Mr. Underworld Emperor Bai Ye. It turns out that you were the one who ended the Summit War by yourself a year ago, Underworld Emperor, Mr. Bai Ye. Disrespect and disrespect. Because Robin and Nami are heroes to Alabasta, people in other regions may not know them, but the people living in the capital, it is impossible not to know them. Princess Vivi was interrupted by her father, and only then did she pay attention to the handsome man in front of her again. Bai Ye couldn't help being curious. People are saying that you are the Emperor Hades from hell, whoever dares to provoke you will definitely pay the price of death. Bai Ye asked everyone's puzzlement. Through this sentence, Bai Ye learned a little more about Princess Vivi, and the code Luffy left on the news of the world can only be understood by the Straw Hat Pirates. Welcome, Robin, Nami. Therefore, after arriving in the capital Albana, everything went very smoothly. After being reminded by Princess Vivi, Cobra remembered why Bai Ye looked familiar to him, because a year ago, he had seen Bai Ye's photo on the news of the world. At first, she didn't take a closer look, and Princess Vivi just thought that Bai Ye was quite handsome, but now that she took a closer look, her heart was beating violently. Where? Bai Ye replied politely. But I'm curious, why do you all call me Emperor Hades? Princess Vivi is very curious. Advertisement. Cobra is worthy of being a wise king. He can tell at a glance that Bai Ye who came with Robin and Nami is not extraordinary. Wei, don't be so anxious. Ms. Robin, Ms. Nami, you haven't introduced your companions to us yet. Robin, Nami, how did you come here? According to the code you left on the news of the world, won't you meet in Sabayati Archipelago for another year? Not only Bai Ye, but also Robin and Nami are very curious. Princess Vivi seemed very excited. From her words, it can also be known that she seems to have been paying attention to Bai Ye's news all the time. Since Princess Vivi can understand it, it means that she has always been and will always be a member of the Straw Hat Pirates. Next, everyone took the large moving crab unique to Alabasta and rushed to Albana, the capital of Alabasta. Bai Ye was taken aback when he heard this. Is Princess Vivi all right? Great. King Cobra was also very moved. What, don't you know yourself? Recently, this name has been widely spread in various countries of the Grand Line. People are talking about it. You killed the legendary pirates Golden Lion Shiki and the feat of 5 Buster Call fleets. The title of Underworld Emperor also comes from this. Seeing her former companions Robin and Nami, Princess Vivi was very touched. Could it be because the fight between Bai Ye and Pluton Rayleigh was hyped up by the pirates of the Karoo Pirates? Underworld Emperor Bai Ye, when did I get this nickname? Princess Vivi blurted out and said. Pretty face flushed slightly, not to mention how excited she was. Soon, under the leadership of the captain of the Kingdom Guard Ikaram, a middle-aged man with blonde curly hair, they met Princess Vivi and her father, the king of this country, Neferudali, in the palace. Cobra. 266 This matter cannot be solved by you all. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Oh, unexpectedly, our Princess Vivi is very well informed about the news of Big Brother Bai Ye. Nami said with a smirk. Sister Nami, what are you talking about? People just pay attention to some current affairs news. Besides, in the past 2 days, the headlines of major newspapers have been reporting this matter, so it's hard for people not to know. Princess Vivi forcefully explained. It's a pity that the more helpless she is to explain, the more unconvincing she is. Although Robin didn't tease Princess Vivi, she was quite disrespectful to the fact that Princess Vivi obviously had a crush on Bai Ye. No way, who made the man she fell in love with so courageous? Moreover, Robin knew a long time ago that it is impossible for a great man like Bai Ye to be surrounded by only her and a woman. So, being jealous is the 820 jealousy, she can still accept some things. The premise is that as long as Bai Ye always has her in his heart. I see, I thought it was the news that I defeated Pluton Rayleigh that spread like wildfire, that's why people gave me the nickname, Underworld. Bai Ye murmured. What, Pluton Rayleigh has been defeated by you? Princess Vivi was shocked when she heard the words, and her eyes were full of longing when she looked at Bai Ye. Advertisement. Seeing this, Robin, Nami, Monet, and even Granu couldn't help curling their lips. Now, anyone can see that Princess Vivi seems to be a little too enthusiastic about Bai Ye. Even Bai Ye felt that Princess Wei Wei's eyes were a little too hot. But out of politeness, Bai Ye nodded to Princess Vivi and smiled. Look at Princess Vivi again, her longing face and bright eyes confirm her affection for Bai Ye. Bai Ye didn't intend to get too entangled in this matter, so he took the initiative to say. Speaking of which, in fact, the reason why we came to Alabasta this time, besides Nami and Robin missing you, there is one more important thing. After hearing this, Robin and Nami remembered what their purpose of coming this time was. Of course, what they don't know is that the reason why Robin is so excited is probably because of the problem that has troubled her for a long time. 1 year later, she may leave the Straw Hat Pirates in order to follow Bai Ye. She is afraid of her companions. We are disappointed in her. Asterisk asterisk. That's not good, you are a princess of a country. Bai Ye had just finished speaking, and noticed that Princess Vivi was a little disappointed, so he added. However, if you don't mind yourself, then of course it's okay. Phew, it's dangerous. Someone almost saw through my love for Bai Ye 1.9. Robin spoke excitedly. Immediately, Nami couldn't wait to say. That's right, Princess Vivi, we came this time because we heard the news from the Karoo Pirates that Alabasta is in a huge crisis. Vivi, what is going on here? Unexpectedly, Princess Vivi just opened her mouth. Instead of seeking help from everyone, she advised everyone to leave as soon as possible. Advertisement. Ahem, of course. After hearing Bai Ye's last words, Princess Vivi smiled happily. As expected of Nami Beauty. From the realization of Princess Vivi and King Cobra, it is not difficult to conclude that Alabasta's troubles this time are much more serious than everyone imagined. 0. Even after Robin and Nami said so, Princess Vivi still hesitated. That's right, Vivi, you will always be a member of our Straw Hat Pirates, so no matter how hard you try to persuade us to leave, it's useless. Robin and I will never let go of our companions. But, speaking of excitement, Nami even held Bai Ye's hand and asked excitedly. Realizing where the problem was, Nami hurriedly let go of Bai Ye's hand in a panic. Nami and Princess Vivi were a little surprised when they heard this. Robin is a little too excited, right? Nami sighed inwardly. At this time, Nami just realized that the electric light that everyone is looking at her is a little strange. Naturally, Nami and Princess Vivi didn't know about it, they just thought that Robin cared about his companions, and if it was for his companions, it's understandable that they would be so excited. On the other hand, Princess Vivi's father, King Cobra, also looked embarrassed. Obviously, he also thinks that if Robin and Nami are once again in crisis because of their affairs, I am sorry for them. Advertisement. Nami also opened the mouth. It's not that Bai Ye wants to be distracted at such a serious time, but really, Nami's hand should not be too weak and insensitive, that kind of touch is so comfortable. Even if Bai Ye and the others are willing to help, they also feel that they cannot solve this matter with just a few of them. Bai Ye replied leisurely. Fortunately, Princess Vivi was not in the mood to focus on other issues at this time. After listening to Nami's words, she was thoughtful, but she didn't go straight to the point, but said, Mr. Bai Ye, can I, like Sister Nami, call you a big deal by night? Just like this incident, even if the whole crew of the Straw Hat Pirates regrouped, it would be useless. Brother Bai Ye, you will definitely help Alabasta solve the huge trouble they are in, right? Since you already know, then I don't need to hide it. It's a long story. In addition, this time's matter is not as simple as the pirates and robbery incident initiated by K-Lock before. Based on how many of you are, it can't be solved. So, I still advise you to leave Alabasta as soon as possible. Vivi, what are you talking about? Don't you think of yourself as a partner of the Straw Hat Pirates? If you still think of yourself as a partner of the Straw Hat Pirates, then you should know best that the Straw Hat Pirates can do anything if you don't pay attention, the only thing you value the most is your companions. Seeing Princess Vivi was still hesitant, Nami suddenly had an idea and said, Vivi, I know you are worried that Robin and I may be in danger, but have you forgotten that we have a super powerful the character, Underworld Emperor Bai Ye? The nympho Princess Vivi, who was still admiring Bai Ye's handsome face, changed her appearance and became serious after hearing this. What? King Cobra, who thought that Princess Vivi was going to talk about business, was dumbfounded when he heard the words, but there was nothing he could do. Especially Princess Vivi, seeing Nami holding Bai Ye's hand affectionately, curled her lips unabashedly, as if she was wronged. 267. Princess Vivi's worries. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. 267. Princess Vivi's worries. I have to say that Princess Vivi is indeed a beautiful woman with blue hair. When she laughed, she was astonished. Even Bai Ye couldn't help but take a few more glances. In Bai Ye's opinion, Princess Vivi's beauty definitely ranks among the top 3. That is to say, except for Boa Hancock, who is recognized as the most beautiful woman in the world, and Princess Shirahoshi, who is the second. Bai Ye believes that Princess Vivi, Robin and Nami can tie for third place. Brother Bai Ye, Vivi doesn't think that your strength is not enough. But, Princess Vivi was still hesitating, but finally continued, the crisis that Alabasta encountered this time far surpassed yours. Beyond imagination, I'm afraid, even if there are a few more of you, it won't help. Oh, really? In this world, are there any troubles that Bai Ye can't solve? Princess Vivi, I'm more interested when you say that. What Princess Vivi said made Bai Ye more interested. Indeed, is there any trouble in this world that he can't solve? But apparently, Princess Vivi and King Cobra didn't think so. They felt that there were only 7 people in Bai Ye's group. 7 people facing thousands of troops. Moreover, this is not an ordinary army with thousands of horses, but thousands of vicious pirates. In this way, it makes sense why they are so hesitant. Since this is the case, let me tell the truth. In fact, what we are facing this time is not just one pirate group, but dozens of large pirate groups. Princess Vivi hesitated for a moment, then spoke again. Sure enough, as Robin and I guessed, after Kelkadar was pulled out from the undersea prison, for revenge, he entangled many pirate groups and planned to attack Alabasta. Advertisement. Nami heard the words, the first could not help but speak. Dozens of big pirate groups. Oh, how big can it be, comparable to the 4 Emperors pirate group? Hearing this, Wabel couldn't help saying something silly. You know, he is from the Whitebeard Pirates, one of the 4 Emperors. This has always been his proud capital. Wabel, are you kidding me? Even Virgo, who was always expressionless, couldn't help bumping Wabel with his arm. Everyone, including Bai Ye, also felt that on the Grand Line, no matter how big the pirate group could be, it would at most be a pirate group like K-Lockdar or Gecko Moria, with a certain Shichibukai as the captain. You're right, there really is a pirate group of 4 emperors. Unexpectedly, what Princess Vivi said next caught everyone by surprise. What? The pirate group with 4 emperors? It's impossible for the Red Hair Pirates and Whitebeard Pirates to do such a thing, and the Beasts Pirates were wiped out again, so. That's right, it's the Big Mom Pirates. Princess Vivi's words confirmed everyone's guess. Even the Big Mom Pirates got involved in this matter. Now that you put it that way, I understand that the huge trouble that Alabasta got into this time must be related to Pluto. Advertisement. Bai Ye was originally curious about what kind of trouble Alabasta got into, which made Princess Vivi so hesitant, and even had him, the majestic, strongest demon in the new era. It doesn't help to come forward. But now, he understood. It turns out that the huge crisis that Alabasta fell into this time is related to Pluton, which is known as the worst warship in history. Presumably, after Clockadar escaped from the undersea prison, he spread the news that Pluton was hiding in Alabasta, which is why so many big pirate groups were attracted. The previously destroyed port and destroyed streets must have been caused by those pirate groups who refused to give in to each other and wanted to get the Pluton battleship. Just don't know why, they stopped again. Perhaps there were too many pirate groups coming one after another, and they were worried that the Snipe and Clam would fight and let other pirate groups take advantage of the off-the-shelf, so they reached a truce agreement before Pluton was found. As expected of Mr. Bai Ye, you can guess that this incident was caused by Pluton. As you know, not only the Big Mom pirates participated in the snatching of the Pluton warship, but also people from New World and all over the world. A large pirate group that dominates one side. That's why I don't want you to get into this trouble. If those pirates keep their promise, as long as we call out the Pluton battleship, they will let Alabasta go, and there is no need to put you all in great danger. Quote. King Cobra couldn't bear it at last, and spoke. That's right. Although the reputation of pirates such as Big Mom Charlotte Linlin is not very good, but when the time comes, they probably won't take the Kingdom of Alaska into consideration in order to compete for the Pluton battleship. Nami pondered. If you can avoid the disaster of destroying the country by just handing over the Pluton battleship, then it is worth it. Robin also spoke. Advertisement. I think so too, so I advise you to leave Alabasta as soon as possible. 3 days later, the major pirate groups will visit Alabasta again. At that time, we only need to hand over Pluton as agreed. It's their business to beat you to the death. Princess Vivi spoke again. Do not. However, what Princess Vivi said sounded reasonable, but Bai Ye resolutely denied it. King Cobra, if you really think so, then you are very wrong. Don't you know what kind of person Charlotte Linlin is? If she grabs Pluton, she will be the first to test Pluton mighty, it must be you Alabasta. As soon as Bai Ye said this, King Cobra's complexion suddenly turned pale. Yeah, why didn't he think of this? And Bai Ye hadn't finished speaking yet. Also, others may not know the connection between Princess Vivi and Pluton, but I still know it. If those pirates find that they can't control Pluton, what do you think they will do? Bai Ye's words are not just nonsense, but have some basis. Since Poseidon may be Princess Shirahoshi, why can't Pluton be Princess Vivi? Of course, even if Pluton is not Princess Vivi, it must have a lot to do with Princess Vivi. Perhaps, only Princess Vivi has the ability to open the world's most evil warship Pluton and control it. It's not impossible either. 268. King Cobra's worries. Next chapter. Advertisement. Otherwise, in the original book, why does I am, who is the owner of the Void Throne, care so much about Vivi, a princess of a country whose strength is not very good? He even personally sent someone to assassinate her. It is nothing more than Princess Vivi has the ability to control Pluton and can fight against the world government. Therefore, when he felt threatened, I am would personally order and send someone to assassinate her, just to prevent it from happening. Hearing Bai Ye's words, King Cobra's complexion became even paler. He didn't expect that Bai Ye even knew this. However, if we don't hand over Pluton honestly, what can we do? Are we going to fight against so many big pirate groups from the 4 seas in the New World? You know, among them is the Big Mother led by 4 emperors Charlotte Linlin pirates. After a while of hesitation, Princess Vivi said stubbornly. Obviously, she should have known about the connection between herself and Pluton. But she still made such a decision. It can be seen that she has long thought about what the pirates will do if they find that they cannot control Pluton. At that time, she is willing to fight with the pirates to protect the lives of the people of Alabasta. Thieves go. Isn't there still me here? It doesn't matter. It's just a group of Big Mom pirates and a bunch of mobs. The Beast's pirates danced very well before, but now, it's not the same that I wiped out. Bai Ye said with an interested expression on his face. What he didn't know was that when Princess Vivi heard this, she was moved in her heart, as if Bai Ye's words were a kind of promise to her. Her clear and bright eyes were even a little moist. Advertisement. Really? Princess Vivi stared at Bai Ye, her blue pupils were like the sky. Of course. So, you don't have to worry too much about it. After 3 days, just wait and see the good show. Bai Ye patted his chest and assured. With Bai Ye's guarantee, Princess Vivi was relieved. However, King Cobra secretly sighed. He didn't know whether this was a blessing or a curse for Alabasta. Alabasta, not to mention fighting against so many big pirate groups from all over the world, just one Big Mom pirate group has the strength to destroy them several times. 3 days passed in a flash. Bai Ye said vigorously. It has to be said that this Karoo is indeed the spiritual guy among ducks, and it is not an exaggeration to say that it is a god, or a beast. If Alabasta is strong enough, half as powerful as the world government, which pirate group would dare to mess with it? King Cobra said slightly worriedly. In the final analysis, in a word, Alabasta is too weak. By the way, where is Pluton? You can just arrange people to take us there. We will naturally be there. Repel all the pirates, and let all the pirates in the world know that in the future, we can't offend Alabasta again. Quote. Advertisement. Bai Ye's answer almost scared the old country Akoku into a heart attack, but fortunately, Bai Ye added later. Backquote, if there is any countermeasure, it is to play by ear. Well, Thank you very much, I will send soldiers to take you there. However, the ruins of Pluton have been hidden for a long time. Opening the ruins again, and the birth of Pluton will definitely cause great disturbances. I only hope that after Pluton is born, Mr. Bai Ye, you can take Pluton and your little daughter Vivi and leave together. Only under the protection of a powerful person like you, Mr. Bai Ye, will Pluton not be moved by anyone. In the next 3 days, everyone thought that Bai Ye would definitely make various preparations in advance, countermeasures and so on. Bai Ye said very bluntly. However, during these 3 days, Bai Ye did nothing at all, and usually let Princess Vivi take them to visit the scenic spots in this country. Ahem, that's what I said. However, that's not what I meant. What I mean is that after Pluton, Li Wangzhao, comes out, even if Mr. Bai Ye leads people to repel all the pirates, it will inevitably attract the high-level officials of the world government came over to carry out the forcible expropriation. This is what worries King Cobra. Don't worry, I'm not someone who covets Pluton. If I really want Pluton, I've already done it 3 days ago. Why wait until now? Say yes. However, Robin and Nami have never seen Princess Vivi so happy, which made them sigh. It seems that someone is really moved and relieved. During these 3 days, Bai Ye and his little friends lived very comfortably. Countermeasures. None. In addition, how could King Cobra not understand his daughter's intentions? So, taking this opportunity, he proposed to let Bai Ye leave with Princess Vivi. In addition, Robin and Nami are Princess Vivi's best friends and companions. Princess Vivi is naturally willing to play with them. Advertisement. Virgo, who is in charge of procurement of supplies such as water and food for the peak, said that with Nami on board, he's going to lose his job. For this reason, King Cobra even arranged the auxiliary ministers around Bai Ye to serve him at any time. Nami, a money junkie, even took this opportunity to amass a lot of money and directly purchased enough water and food for the pinnacle for a year, which can be regarded as returning to her old profession. This made him lament over and over during these short 3 days that his daughter has indeed grown up and cannot be kept. There is no way. There is a princess of a country as a tour guide, where is it not treated with the highest standard, and you don't even need to pay a penny for eating and drinking. Of course, Princess Vivi also seems to admire Bai Ye very much. She is so happy to be able to play with Bai Ye. King Cobra has never seen Princess Vivi so happy. Mr. Bai Ye, the pirate groups are coming, do you really have a countermeasure? When Bai Ye heard this, he immediately understood what he meant. Just because of Bai Ye's words, do you really want to fight against the big pirate groups all over the world? That's why the previous incident of pirates stealing the country happened, and that's why it happened that the big pirate groups are bullying their heads. Having Princess Vivi as a tour guide and traveling with you is the dream of many men in this country. No man has ever had this honor, except Bai Ye. King Cobra sighed. King Cobra, still worried, couldn't help asking Bai Ye before the arrival of the major pirate groups. During this period, Princess Vivi also showed Bai Ye her horse, Kuru. 269. Pluton is born. The world is about to change. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. King Cobra believes that Princess Vivi is the only one who can control Pluton. If Bai Ye wants to control Pluton, he will definitely take her with him. Father. Princess Vivi said with a coquettish shyness when she heard the words. I'm not leaving Alabasta. Probably out of shyness, Princess Vivi added. This matter is not negotiable. The birth of Pluton, one of the 3 ancient weapons, means that the world is about to change. The entire world will undergo a major reshuffle. In this unpredictable time, everyone has to choose a side, or the world government, or. In short, Vivi, I hope you can make the right choice. King Cobra spoke earnestly to Princess Vivi. Father. At this time, Princess Vivi realized that this time, it was not just as simple as the big pirates teaming up to bully her, the matter was far more complicated than imagined. Yes, Pluton is born, the world is about to change. Soon, Bai Ye's party and Princess Vivi, led by the soldiers guarding the ruins, came to the seemingly desolate island on the edge of Alabasta. Who would have thought that this deserted island, which looks like nothing to shit on, is actually hiding the remains of Pluton, one of the 3 ancient weapons. It's no wonder that Charlotte Linlin, the impatient ant, did not rush to attack Alabasta, but joined forces with other pirate groups to force King Cobra to hand over Pluton obediently. After all, even if they captured Alabasta, if King Kobala did not reveal the location of the Pluton ruins, they might not be able to find it even if they found it. Advertisement. Alabasta waters. Countless pirate ships gathered, among them, a very large pirate ship is very hockey. Especially the statue of the queen at the bow is hockey outside. That's right, this super large pirate ship is the main ship of the Big Mom Pirates, Queen's chanting. At this time, on the Queen's singing, the ant and the important cadres in the family are discussing some things. Don't worry, that old guy Cobra will hand over Pluton wisely, he dare not hand it over. The ant said proudly while drinking tea. Bai Ye, as long as my Aunt Charlotte Linlin gets Pluton, it's your death day. The ant said that if she changed her face, she would change her face, and said viciously. The teacup in her hand was crushed by her forcefully. Pity this teacup, it's not an ordinary teacup, but a living one, a kind of, homies. The so-called homies means that the ant uses the ability of her soul fruit to lodge her soul in various things to anthropomorphize them, and the anthropomorphic objects are called homies. The teacup, who was living a good life and didn't provoke anyone, was wiped out by the ant just like that. In addition, from the last sentence of the ant, it can be concluded that the reason why the ant also went to Alabasta to compete with the pirates for Pluton is to use Pluton to deal with Bai Ye. Also, the tragic end of Kaido of the Beasts and Beasts pirates not only frightened Big Mom, but also sounded the alarm for her. In order to prevent the same tragic end as the Beasts pirates, Big Mom can't sit still. As for that group of people, there is no doubt that they are Bai Ye and his group. So, if we don't hurry to that desert island, Pluton will probably be snatched by Bai Ye first. Advertisement. No, there are only a few pirate servants on board. Katakuri didn't flinch from his mother's anger, and continued. Baron Egi also looked at Katakuri helplessly, and then said again, just now. By the way, there is another piece of news. It is said that just now, King Cobra sent a lot of soldiers to escort a group of people. A deserted island. If the information is correct, according to my guess, it should be where the ruins of Pluton are hidden. At this time, saying such disappointing words is not what she wants to hear. It even reached the point where danger could be foreseen. Mom, something is wrong. The spies just reported that they found Bai Ye's pirate ship, Pinnacle, at the port of Alabasta. Katakuri spoke again. Ant insisted on going her own way. If the person who spoke was not Katakuri, the ant would have been furious, but even so, she was still very angry. Really? Then I'll see who can stop it. My Aunt Charlotte Linlin snatches Pluton. Bai Ye is he still on Pinnacle? Mom was furious. Ant heard that, although she was very angry, she had to admit that what Katakuri said made sense. Among the Conqueror's Haki, the most proficient in his practice is observation Haki, it is said. Mom, this is just what I sense from the advanced observation Haki, which I am good at. It seems that things will not be that simple. Everyone dared not speak when they saw the ant getting angry. Only Charlotte Katakuri dared to speak. The ant said with a gloomy face. The teacup on his head almost fell to the ground because of being too flustered. Advertisement. Egi Baron quickly responded. Baron Dandan rushed into the meeting room in a panic to report. As long as she gets Pluton, one of the 3 ancient weapons, then she is sure to get rid of the scourge of Bai Ye. As soon as the voice fell, a series of hurried footsteps suddenly came to mind outside the door. Mom, I have a hunch that things won't be that simple. Sure enough, when the ant heard the words, she immediately changed her mind about waiting for an opportunity to retaliate day and night. No, Mom, doing this will only anger Bai Ye. The most urgent thing now is to get him one step ahead and grab Pluton. Well, that's just right, we can take advantage of their absence and destroy the peak first, then, I want to see how angry Bai Ye will be. On the contrary, it was Katakuri who showed the composure of his deputy and asked calmly. When the ant heard the words, she immediately spoke. What did you say? Now Big Mom finally believed her son Katakuri's words. What? Also, after all, he is the most powerful among all the children of Big Mom, and he is a veritable deputy of Big Mom's pirates. At this point, the ant is ashamed. Of course, what Auntie herself is best at, is advanced armament Haki. Bai Ye is planning to take one step ahead of us and steal Pluton. No, if I don't give Bai Ye a little revenge, I won't be Aunt Charlotte Linlin. 270. Are you sure there are Plutons on this deserted island? Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. What? The hateful old bastard Cobra turned his back on what he said. Did he want to send Ming Akoku to Bai Ye to curry favor with him? Although it was a good idea, unfortunately, this time, he made a wrong move. Said Ant viciously. If there weren't so many big pirate groups around, Ant naturally wouldn't have the confidence. But it just so happens that Queen Singing is surrounded by so many ships from the sea, bandits. Although, the purpose of these big pirate groups is also to compete for Pluton. But before Bai Ye snatched Pluton, they at least aimed at the first factory. That is, no matter what, Bai Ye, the devil, cannot be robbed of Pluton. He is already so strong now. If he is allowed to get the ancient weapon Pluton again, it will be fine, the whole pirate world must not be turned upside down by him. With this support, Big Mom will naturally not be afraid of Bai Ye. She doesn't believe that Bai Ye can kill her Big Mom pirate group and many big pirate groups just like Kaido's Beasts pirates. Baron Egi, how many people are there in Bai Ye's group? Could it be that the entire Whitebeard pirate group is also there? On the contrary, Katakuri thought more comprehensively than his mother. That's not the case. There are only about 6 or 7 people in their group, including Bai Ye. Baron Egi truthfully reported the information he had received. Advertisement. With Bai Ye included, there are only 6 or 7 people. Oh, God help me. Today is the day of Bai Ye's death. The ant was even more delighted when she heard this. Immediately gave the order to advance at full speed. She wanted to grab Pluton before Bai Ye, and use the hands of other pirates to destroy Bai Ye. The other side. Akoku of the Cobra Kingdom didn't know until now. 3 days ago, the ant pretended to be kind and persuaded all the pirates to give him 3 days to hand over the Pluton himself. But in fact, she, who is old and cunning, has already planted spies from the Big Mom pirates in the kingdom. Moreover, this spy was mixed in the king's guard, and at this moment, he was ordered to protect Bai Ye and his party, heading to the deserted island where Pluton, one of the three ancient weapons, was sealed in dust. Because of the exact information provided by this spy, it is naturally impossible for Ant and the others not to know the specific location of the deserted island. At this moment, Bai Ye and his party arrived at the deserted island on the ship of Alabasta Throne. Before arriving at the deserted island, everyone could not help but have some reverie about this deserted island. After all, it is the remains of Pluton, one of the three ancient weapons. No matter how desolate it can be, there must still be some ruins. Let it show its former momentum and glory. It's a pity that when people saw this desolate island that couldn't be in the desolate, they were completely disappointed. Except for the reef, there are only reefs, not to mention that birds don't shit, even seabirds are unwilling to approach, so there may be birds shitting here. Bell uncle, you are not mistaken, right? This is the craftsman who sealed the ancient weapon Pluton. Even Princess Vivi, who is closely related to Pluton, saw that this deserted island was a so-called relic, and couldn't help wondering if Bell, as the counselor, had made a mistake about the island. Bell, exactly Bell of Falcon, is a zone bird fruit falcon type capable person. Reporting to the princess, I am sure I am not mistaken. This is the island where the ruins of the ancient weapon Pluton are sealed. The Wycan family has guarded this deserted island for generations. It is impossible to make a mistake. Bell said very confidently. Advertisement. However, after he finished speaking, he still added something with a guilty conscience. As for how to open this ruin, I don't know. The king just asked me to bring you here without giving any hints. When Princess Vivi heard this, she was immediately unhappy. What did father do? Without giving any hints, let us find Pluton on this desolate desert island. No wonder Princess Vivi loses her temper. Although this deserted island is extremely desolate, it is very large. At a glance, there are only reefs. If this relic needs any special opening method, then they have to find the mechanism to open the relic on this deserted island. But now, the Big Mom pirates and other pirates are on their way, how can there be so much time for them to search slowly? When other people heard the words, they thought the same as Princess Vivi. They couldn't figure it out. At this time, why did King Cobra still play charades? Can't he just tell the way to open the ruins? Point 0 for flowers. Bell, why do you think King Cobra still plays these riddles at this time? Nami, who is outspoken, even asked directly. Well, I think, in fact, it is possible that King Cobra himself does not know how to open the ruins. But, he should be very clear about the connection between Pluton and Princess Vivi, so he let Princess Vivi come with us too. Bell mused. That's it. Hearing this, Bai Ye was thoughtful, he already had some ideas about Pluton. Others, on the other hand, still looked confused and puzzled. Advertisement. That's right, Princess Vivi must be the key to unlock this ruin. On the contrary, Robin, a talented girl, quickly thought of something and said it truthfully. Bai Ye was noncommittal about this, and it happened that at this time, the boat had already arrived at the deserted island, and everyone got off the boat one after another and boarded the deserted island. As soon as everyone landed on the ground, they felt the ground under their feet trembling slightly. Bai Ye. Although there was no shadow of any ship on the sea, Robin knew very well from the tremor coming from the ground under his feet that there was a mighty fleet approaching. Okay, I know. Regarding this, Bai Ye just nodded his head slightly, his eyes kept looking somewhere on the sea level. Monet. Bai Ye said. Yes, master. When Monet heard the words, he naturally understood Bai Ye's meaning, and directly used the snow fruit's ability to grow a bunch of ice sculpture wings, flew up into the sky, and patrolled in the direction Bai Ye was staring at. Here, it is worth mentioning that since Monet followed Bai Ye, she has always regarded herself as a maid, and her name Bai Ye is different from other people, even her sister Granu, she has always regarded Bai Ye as a maid. Her master. She was even in charge of Bai Ye's daily life along the way. This made the other women on board a little envious and jealous, but they were helpless. Bai Ye asked Monet several times not to call herself a maid, but she just didn't listen. Uphill. 271. The mighty pirate army appears. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. There is no way, Bai Ye can only acquiesce in the existence of this special master-servant relationship. Because Monet has always been serving Bai Ye's daily life, among all the women on board, it is between her and Bai Ye that they have the most heart-to-heart connection. For many things, Bai Ye only needs to be prompted, and Monet will naturally understand what Bai Ye means. This time too. Soon, Monet came down from the sky. They're coming. Lots of them, Monet said succinctly. A lot of what? Hearing this, Nami couldn't figure it out. Is this a special secret word between her and Bai Ye's master and servant? It's really enviable. As for Bai Ye, she naturally understood what Monet meant. Monet just liked to make some complicated things and make the most concise report. Although it was really too simplified, it was okay, at least Bai Ye understood what she meant. 483. How many pirate ships are there? Bai Ye asked. The super large one, and the other large ones, a total of 36 ships. Monet deserves to be engaged in intelligence gathering work. Just at this moment, he can even count how many ships are coming from the opposite side. Oh, it seems that Big Mom led 36 pirates and came together. Advertisement. Bai Ye heard this and said with great interest. What? Came so soon? Hearing this, Belle couldn't believe it. They just arrived at the deserted island, and the Backfoot Ant has already led more than 30 pirate groups to come. This is too fast. Ignoring Belle's question, Bai Ye said thoughtfully. It's just that I don't know what method she used to convince the other pirates that their goal should be Pluton. Otherwise, there would not be an outbreak at the port. It's a fierce battle. Of course I used you, Lord Bai Ye, to convince them. The tough guy Virgo suddenly spoke. Then, without saying a word, he suddenly walked up to a soldier of the Kingdom Guard and punched him hard in the abdomen. The strength of this punch was unclear, but the Kingdom Guard resisted it unexpectedly. It can be seen that he is obviously not an ordinary person. Mr. Virgo, what are you doing? Jackal Jujia, the deputy captain of the Kingdom Guard, couldn't help scolding angrily. He saw that Virgo was a tough guy like him before, and even chatted with him on the way here. No, he just found out the spies who were in the Kingdom's guards. Bai Ye spoke up, defending Virgo. At this time, Virgo's role was revealed. After all, under the instruction of Doflamingo, he sneaked into the Marine headquarters and blocked the spies for more than 20 years. As a spy, he is the old spy of the old lady who is in the Kingdom Guard and is also a spy. If you want to hide it from him, you are still a little tender. What? He's a spy from the pirates. Belle heard the words, and immediately understood why the pirates, Big Mom and the others, rushed over so quickly, because there were traitors among them. Advertisement. Damn it, I said, why did I smell a strange smell? Gaka gritted his teeth. His dog nose is still good, but he doesn't understand. This guy is obviously a soldier he trained himself. Why suddenly, the smell has changed? Yaka, what did you do? Quickly arrest him and solve it on the spot. Belle snapped. When Jaka heard this, he quickly sniffed the soldier with his nose, and found that his smell had returned to the familiar smell. Even compared with Pinnacle and Queen's Singing, they are a whole level behind. Buster Call Fleet 0.0 has 50 warships, but at least there are not hundreds of small ships. Besides, there is also a super large pirate ship, Queen's Chanting. Wable is also simple and straightforward. He let go of his feet and searched around the deserted island as soon as he got off the boat, but naturally found nothing. No way, I can only run back and complain. 0. When everyone heard this, they became even more curious. Is this deserted island where the ruins of ancient weapon Pluton are really located? Just at this time, there was movement again on the horizon in the distance. Nami couldn't help but worry. Don't worry, although they reached an agreement because of the instigation of the ant, they planned to unanimously kill my threat first. But to put it bluntly, they have their own ideas all for Pluton. Princess Vivi said guiltily. Seeing the terrifying battle of the other party, everyone was inevitably a little nervous, but Bai Ye remained calm and composed. Brother Bai Ye, can this pirate force really be resisted with the help of us? Although this is just a small episode before the pirate army arrives, but through this small episode, Belle and Jaka have to look at Bai Ye with admiration. He is indeed the man their princess likes, and he is really extraordinary. So, I should have insisted before that it is my fault for letting you leave and not getting involved in this matter. Bai Ye spoke again. Therefore, Nami's concern is not unreasonable. Advertisement. No, he was just forced into someone else's soul by the ant. Just now, Virgo punched that soul out. Gaka nodded. After all, Alabasta, not to mention the power of the whole country, even if it pulls together a few small countries around it, it will not be able to resist this pirate force. Everything was exactly as reported by Monet. Of course, behind these pirate ships, there were at least hundreds of small and medium-sized pirate ships. It seems so. What? This is of course, although this deserted island is big, it can be seen at a glance, except for the reef, there is really nothing. Virgo himself couldn't believe it when he heard the words. His punch just now was just an ordinary punch that condensed armament hockey. Can it really punch out a person's soul? Is there really nothing? Seeing that everyone was puzzled, Bai Ye was about to say something. At the same time, he glanced at Bai Ye gratefully. What the hell is this place? You can't see a single bird droppings. Is there really a Pluton here? No wonder. Before Bai Ye came, King Cobra didn't want to fight this battle at all, and was even willing to compromise and hand over Pluton obediently. She has seen the power of the pirate army before, but obviously, she has only seen half of it. She never expected that the pirate army is so powerful. A mighty pirate army consisting of one super large pirate ship and 36 large pirate ships appeared on the horizon. After all, he was a soldier trained by himself, and he couldn't bear it if he had to deal with it. When Belle heard this, he naturally let the soldier go. This is even scarier than the previous 5 Buster Call fleets. This battle is not generally huge. It came pretty fast. 272. Vivi, this old woman really won't keep her promise. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. After a pause, Bai Ye continued. In short, their relationship is not unbreakable. It is not an exaggeration to say that they are a group of mobs. There may even be a big fight on the way. Therefore, you don't have to worry too much. With me, Bai Ye, it is absolutely impossible for them to snatch Plutons. Bai Ye's words were clearly addressed to everyone. But to Princess Vivi's ears, it seemed like a promise made to her alone. Really, Princess Vivi was very moved. Of course, she can't be blamed for this, after all, she is the most important person in this incident. Pluton is closely related to her, Bai Ye promises that she will never let others take Pluton away, isn't that equivalent to her guarantee? Seeing Princess Vivi looking at Bai Ye's moved face, everyone was speechless. It seems that someone is really stuck in the quagmire. Fortunately, this embarrassing anger was quickly interrupted by a shrew-like voice. Well, Bai Ye, hello. You can't think of it, even if you try your best, you can't think that we will arrive so soon, right? Hey, speaking of it, it's all thanks to you, who led us the way. Otherwise, we could have found Lai so quickly in our bow. As soon as the ant came up, she challenged Bai Ye. Oh, Charlotte Linlin, it seems that last time I didn't scare you, aren't you afraid of ending up like your good friend Kaido? To this, Bai Ye just responded casually. When the ant heard this, she almost didn't get angry. What a sharp-tongued boy, okay, I admit that I can't talk to you. But so what, with your little people, you also want to take away the military leader. Under our noses. As she spoke, Auntie Hockey added. Advertisement. Pluton is ours. As expected of an ant who was one of the 4 emperors, the roar of Hockey alone has already made the captains of many big pirate groups on the scene change their expressions. In addition, the ant was not stupid, she shouted that Pluton belonged to us, not Pluton belonged to my mother, so the captains of those big pirate groups didn't say much about it. What are you talking about? Charlotte Linlin, have you opened your eyes to see clearly? Does such a desolate island seem to be a place where the ancient Lord of Leg is hidden? Bai Ye pointed to the desolate island beside him, and said. Witty. Hearing this, everyone around him secretly admired Bai Ye's ability to adapt to changing situations. Especially Belle and Jaka, the two of them, in this situation, probably immediately panicked. How could they think of using such rhetoric to fool Auntie? Hey, don't fool me, I'm sure, this is where the ancient weapon Pluton is. But Ant will not believe Bai Ye's nonsense. That being said, it was just that when she saw with her own eyes the huge island in front of her, with only reefs left in desolation, even seabirds were unwilling to approach, and there was not a single bird droppings, her confidence was a little shaken. Mom, something is wrong. Bai Ye doesn't seem to be talking nonsense. This deserted island, as far as the eye can see, is indeed desolate and has nothing. Charlotte Smoothie on the sentry tower suddenly spoke. She is close to 5 meters tall, plus the height of the sentry tower, even with her hands crossed on her chest and leaning against the wall, she can still see the entire island at a glance. She found that the island was really desolate and couldn't be more desolate. Anyway, with the naked eye, it was impossible to see that there were any relic entrances or secret doors. Charlotte Smoothie is the real, big, beauty, with her slender long legs, billowy breasts, and cool dress, even a man can't help but look at her more. Bai Ye is no exception. However, Bai Ye is not interested in her. After all, she is too big. In contrast, Bai Ye is fond of Charlotte Pudding, who hides behind her aunt, looks weak and has a pitiful face more interested. Who would have thought that such a girl whom I still feel pity for is the most black-bellied among the many sisters of the Charlotte family? Advertisement. What? This made the aunt panic. Could it be that she was deceived by that soul? But the souls harvested by her are full of deep fear of her, so it should be impossible to report false information to her. This sentence just confirms that what Bai Ye said before is correct, so that the aunt can get Pluton smoothly. Instead of obeying the agreement and letting Alabasta go, she will be the first to use Alabasta to test the power of Pluton. Katakuri naturally understood what his mother meant, and jumped up from the Queen's chanting horn, at a distance of several hundred meters, and landed on the very handsome electric hockey. Damn, bloody old thing. Katakuri fell to the ground, even crushing the ground under his feet. Let me deal with him. Ha ha ha. Charlotte Linlin, I never imagined that you, as one of the majestic 4 emperors, would be treated like me by King Cobra. Humph. Do not. Mom still didn't want to believe it. It is impossible for her soul to have the courage to betray, so she should report false information to her. Pure waste of effort. Brother Bai Ye, you really hit the mark, this old woman really has no intention of keeping her promise. Out of prudence, the ant spoke. The ant gritted her teeth and said. Impossible. Master, please step back. He is just using the advanced observation hockey to search the entire island in a blanket manner, trying to find out the mechanism or secret door. If Bai Ye said that he was the one who played with Auntie, Auntie would not believe it easily. But what he said was, King Cobra, put him and Big Mom together. Advertisement. Otherwise, with the ability of her soul fruit, it would be too easy for her to obliterate those souls. My old lady should have wiped out Alabasta directly, instead of thinking, get the army chairman and use the army leader to erase Alabasta from the map. In this way, the ant believed it even if she didn't believe it. Bai Ye stopped the impulsive Wable. Snap. It's not over yet. Robin, Virgo, Wable, and Monet spoke almost simultaneously. Sure enough, It didn't take long for Kata 867 Curry to turn around with a look of disappointment and shook his head at his mother. When Princess Vivi heard this, she couldn't help but said angrily. Katakuri, what is he doing? What do you want to do here? Bai Ye said so. Yes. Katakuri burst out with a powerful aura from under his feet. Bai Ye added silently in his heart. Bai Ye said. Island. 273. Robin lost his mind. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Of course, Bai Ye's foresight made Princess Vivi even more confused when she looked at him. Who do you call an old lady, Princess Vivi? The ant heard this and said to Princess Vivi viciously. You call yourself an old lady, aren't you an old lady? Princess Vivi is fearless. With Bai Ye around, she feels very safe. Court death. When the ant heard this, she immediately jumped into a rage. Son Prometheus, burn her to death. Fire in the sky. Yes, mother. Following the ant's order, Son Prometheus, who had been ambushing in the clouds in the sky for a long time, jumped out immediately. This guy was still as arrogant as ever. As soon as he came out, he let out a scorching aura. Immediately afterwards, a pillar of fire with a diameter of more than 10 meters shot down into the sky. Be careful, Princess Vivi. The crowd on the deserted island suddenly turned white and chaotic. Seeing this, Belle the Falcon, Yaka the Jackal, and a group of soldiers wanted to rush forward to protect their princess with their bodies, but their speed was too slow. Quote exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark quote. Belle turned into a falcon, but even so, because of his strength, his speed was still not fast enough. Just when he was in despair, two slim figures flashed by, and they turned out to be Robin and Nami. They also sacrificed their lives and rushed to rescue Princess Vivi. Also, after all, Princess Vivi is their eternal partner of the Straw Hat Pirates, a member of the Straw Hat Pirates, but for their partners, they can risk their lives without hesitation. Advertisement. Well, Princess Vivi, what are you capable of? Isn't it because you are a noble princess that so many people can sacrifice their lives to save you? However, it's useless, they can't save you. Seeing this, the ant couldn't help but speak. That's not necessarily true. Wa Kiangu. Robin's voice sounded, and then, a stunning scene appeared. I saw countless white bones and flower branches intertwined together to form a bone shield, blocking the sky above Princess Vivi's head. Everyone was stunned for a moment. Rainy weather, heavy rain. As for Nami, he also sacrificed the weather stick to attract heavy rain in an attempt to drown the sky. Is it useless? Well, however, at this moment, the ant's weird laughter sounded again. Fire in the sky, burn everything up for me. Big Mom directly lent her own strength, through her soul, to the son Prometheus through the soul fruit ability. Hung. Prometheus, who was originally just a little son, suddenly became angry. Intense light and heat erupted. At the same time, the pillar of fire, which was originally more than 10 meters in diameter, doubled in an instant. The dark clouds and heavy rain brought by Nami were directly evaporated by the heat. Immediately, boom, the pillar of fire hit the bone shield fiercely, and an incredible scene appeared. The bone shield, which looked extremely strong, was melted instantly. Bones are burning. Like hell on earth. No. Princess Vivi, who finally came to her senses, screamed in fright. Advertisement. She wanted to run, but the pillar of fire was too big for her to run away at all. Could it be that she can only wait to die in place? This is impossible. Robin was startled. Is this the gap between her and a powerhouse at the Emperor level of the sea? Although her current strength has reached the Admiral level, there is still a certain gap compared with the strength of the Emperor of the sea. Robin regretted it too much. Because of her inflated strength, she led to blind self-confidence, which may have killed Princess Vivi. This is intolerable to her. She and Nami worked hard to persuade Bai Ye to change the original voyage and come to Alabasta, just to rescue Princess Vivi. How could she watch Princess Vivi being burned to death now? True bone flying flower order. Robin let countless bones protrude from her body, and she tried to save Princess Vivi, her eternal partner, from the fire in the sky even if she sacrificed her life. But at this moment, Bai Ye's voice rang in the ears of Robin who lost his mind. Whoosh. Backquote I may be a little hot, but please bear with me, Princess Vivi. I don't know if it's because of the heat or because of shyness. Therefore, it is understandable how excited Robin was when he saw that Princess Vivi was about to be burned to death in the sky. In fact, he understands Robin's mood very well at this moment. Robin feels that he may part ways with the Straw Hat Pirates in a year. Bai Ye said in Princess Vivi's ear. I saw Bai Ye calmly embraced Princess Vivi into his arms, and then, instead of escaping from the huge pillar of fire that fell from Li Tian, he stomped on the ground with his toes and rushed towards the sky. Calm down, Robin. After hearing Bai Ye's words, Robin woke up from losing his mind. What? So, as long as she can do something for them, even if she sacrifices her own life, why would she care? Advertisement. He is actually eating fire. A golden flame soared into the sky, instantly devouring the fire in the sky completely, and then ruthlessly impacted on the sun Prometheus. After eating enough flames, the corners of Bai Ye's mouth raised slightly, and then. Bai Ye. Son Prometheus wants to run, however, everything is slow. Robin, who was held tightly in Bai Ye's arms, suddenly blushed. At this time, Princess Vivi also understood what Bai Ye said just now, thinking that Bai Ye who ate Nuo's Jiao was not an ordinary fire, but at this moment, really became very hot. Boom. Even the beating of his heart has a scorching breath. Only now can she do something for them. Seeing this, Nami couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. When she looked at Princess Vivi again, the situation had changed. Bai Ye turned into a flash of lightning and came to Princess Vivi in an instant. What is this doing? Bai Ye said leisurely. Fortunately, Big Brother Bai Ye is here. You know, back then at Ennie's lobby, the partners of the Straw Hat Pirates, didn't they sacrifice their lives for her? Princess Vivi didn't realize at all what Bai Ye meant by this. Bai Ye remembered the fire fist blasted out. Give it back to you. In everyone's minds, before they had time to ask this question, the next second, Bai Ye stretched out his hand and grabbed the fire in the sky, directly removed a large piece of flame, and threw it into his mouth. What? Then, she and Robin looked at each other, and in their eyes, there was actually some envy for Princess Vivi's accomplishments. But in the next second, embarrassing uproar sounded at the same time. 274. Big Mom's threat. Whoever goes, whoever dies. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Wow. With a scream, the so-called Son Prometheus was sent flying by the golden flames, thanks to the fact that it is indeed a body of flames, and its flame resistance is full, so it was not directly attacked. The punch was knocked out of his wits. What? No way. Is this the strength of the strongest demon in the new era? No, he should be called Emperor Hades now. That's too powerful. Those members of the big pirate group were shocked when they saw the golden flames soaring into the sky. Especially their captains, whoever had a bit of strategy, were also lost in thought at this moment. As for Bai Ye, he easily eliminated the Son Prometheus with one punch, and then he fell to the ground with the beauty in his arms. Princess Vivi, snuggled in Bai Ye's arms, looked silly watching this scene. Ahem, Vivi, please note that you are a princess. Seeing this, Nami coughed and reminded, considering Robin's feelings. What? Only then did Princess Vivi come to her senses, she blushed and broke free from Bai Ye's arms. This scene also caused everyone to sigh in envy. The story between the princess and the hero, these are all old routines that cannot be aged anymore. But Princess Vivi is indeed beautiful. The male pirates at the scene, as long as they have a normal sexual orientation, must have thought about this blue-haired 660 hand. Even some female pirates covet Princess Vivi. Therefore, it is normal for them to envy and hate Bai Ye. Bastard. Damn Bai Ye. Advertisement. Seeing this warm scene, the ant was even more annoyed. Bai Ye, today is your day of death, and this is your place of burial. Ant let out harsh words. Yes. Bai Ye just responded lightly. Of course. Couldn't it be? You still think that with your little people, you can fight against our dozens of pirate groups and tens of thousands of people. HMPH. The ant snorted coldly. Then, she was too lazy to continue talking nonsense with Bai Ye, waved her hand, and ordered to everyone. Everyone, let's go together. According to the agreement, as long as you are willing to help my mother Charlotte Linlin, first get rid of Bai Ye, the devil, and our Big Mom pirates will not compete with you for the ancient weapon Pluton. Hearing this, Bai Ye understood why those big pirate groups, even if they were weaker than Big Mom's pirate group, were not so weak, they were willing to listen to Big Mom's orders. It turned out that the ant made such a condition for them. Also, without the powerful competitor Big Mom pirates, their chances of grabbing the ancient weapon Pluton have undoubtedly improved a lot. Can they agree to this? Of course not. They also know that Dama's words are like farting, maybe after Bai Ye is dealt with, she will betray her on the spot. But in order to get Pluton, they are still willing to take this risk. Big deal. When Big Mom really turns against the water, they have so many big pirate groups, and then unite to kill Big Mom first. The ant probably thought of this too, so she confidently believed that these big pirate groups would obediently obey her orders. Who knew that after she gave the order, all the big pirate groups behind her remained indifferent? Many small pirate ships had some movement just now, but they were also stopped by their captains. Advertisement. Hee, is this your team? Dozens of pirate groups, tens of thousands of people. Bai Ye was happy. The ant became angry from embarrassment. Why are you still standing there? Why don't you go with my old lady and take Bai Ye down first? Big Mom said unceremoniously to the many pirates behind. However, it didn't work. Auntie, the second son, Katakuri, has already made it clear that there is no way Pluton is hidden on this deserted island. Since Pluton is not here, we are here, and fighting with others, isn't it a bit silly? Cough. Adventurous. A vicious pirate captain with a blindfold spoke. What's more, that person is recognized as the strongest demon in the world, Bai Ye. The reason why he is called the strongest demon is because his strength has surpassed the strongest human beings today. Whitebeard Edward, and Kaido of the Beasts. Another captain with a T-beard also spoke. I heard that he has done something outrageous recently, and has gained another title, Emperor Underworld. The one-eyed captain spoke again. In other words, Pluton is not here. We are still here to fight Bai Ye. Are you sure? Isn't this what the old fox cobra wants to see? A one-armed old captain also said leisurely. You. The ant simply wants to blame this group of guys who eat inside and outside, and get pissed to death. In contrast, on Bai Ye's side, people breathed a sigh of relief and admired Bai Ye even more. Sure enough, as Bai Ye said, these pirate groups have their own minds, and it is impossible for them to join forces sincerely, and they may even fight with each other because of interests. Advertisement. So, no matter how many of them there are, there is nothing to be afraid of. Since Pluton is not here, then we should go to Alabasta's palace as soon as possible to find that old fox cobra, in case Pluton is secretly transferred away by him. Instead of continuing to entangle with Bai Ye here. Another captain of the big pirate group also stood up and said. No, you have promised me that we will get rid of Bai Ye first. For this reason, I won't even argue with you about Pluton. You are going to leave now. Don't even think about it. None of you can leave. The ant said unreasonably. Really? What if we have to go? The vicious one-eyed captain was the first to refuse. Whoever goes, dies. The ant was not in a hurry, but just dropped a harsh word. These words, even men, may not be able to say such cruel words like hockey, but it happened to come from the mouth of a female pirate. As expected of the four emperors, the only female pirate, Big Mom Charlotte Linlin. Charlotte Linlin, do you really think that we are all afraid of you? Round qualifications, you are still young. The one-armed old captain smoked a pipe and said. It seems that his background is not small, it seems to be from the mafia family on the West Blue side. Seeing that Big Mom and the big pirate groups may clash at any time, everyone on Bai Ye's side is happy. Bai Ye folded his hands on his chest, taking the time to prepare for the movie. As for Nami, she even made trouble directly. What's the point of bickering? Let's fight. Nami sows discord. When the ant heard this, her teeth itched with anger, but there was nothing she could do. 275. My dagger is covered with poison. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Katakuri saw the tense situation between the two sides, and in order to avoid internal strife before the fight started, he began to think about countermeasures. Suddenly, he thought of something, and immediately said loudly, Everyone, how about listening to Katakuri? It is true that there is no Pluton on this deserted island. But, have you noticed that Bai Ye has been calm from the beginning to the end? Is this a normal reaction for people who want to get Pluton? No, this is definitely not a normal reaction to have. Either, he must know about Pluton's whereabouts, or, this is a plot between him and King Cobra. No matter what the situation is, we shouldn't let Bai Ye go here. You think, you are rushing from here to the capital of Alabasta, to find King Cobra, threaten him to tell the whereabouts of Pluton, and then go find Pluton. Will you find Pluton faster than Bai Ye, who already knew Pluton's whereabouts? Impossible. Therefore, no matter what the situation is, we should all be here and work together to solve the scourge of Bai Ye first. As long as the biggest scourge of Bai Ye is solved, do you think that King Cobra is still enough to fear? Katakuri spoke eloquently and expressed his views. As soon as this remark came out, not only the pirate captains who were anxious to go back to find King Cobra were stunned, but Bai Ye was also stunned. Feelings, or is he too calm, instead, showing his feet? As expected of Ka he actually grasped the fact that he was too calm, and convinced everyone. However, what Bai Ye wants to say is that even if he is cheated by King Cobra, he will still be calm, because he never thought of competing with everyone for Pluton from the very beginning. Do you believe in meat? Of course not. As one of the three ancient weapons, Pluton is naturally powerful. It is said that as long as one of them is in possession, it is enough to threaten the entire world. But Bai Ye felt that his strength was already strong enough. The so-called ancient weapon was just a weapon, and he didn't need any weapons for his strength. Advertisement. Of course, it is impossible for everyone to think so, they only think that what Katakuri said is very reasonable. Indeed, I find it strange that if, as he said, he was also deceived by King Cobra, why is he still so calm? Another point is that Princess Vivi is also by Bai Ye's side, which is enough to explain everything. Correct. FK, I was almost cheated. The pirates talked a lot, but most of them believed Katakuri's words. What do you think? The one-armed old captain spoke. I think what Katakuri said makes sense. No matter what the situation is, we should not fight among ourselves, but should work together to eliminate Bai Ye, the biggest threat. The one-eyed captain glanced at the ant, and finally chose to compromise. Then there is nothing more to say, let's get rid of Emperor Hades day and night together. A skinny captain deliberately emphasized the word, underworld. As he spoke, he also took out a sharp dagger and licked it with his tongue. My dagger is full of poison, it will seal my throat with blood. The skinny captain proudly showed off. Boat, Captain, your tongue is bleeding. A pirate screamed in horror. Advertisement. It turned out that the guy accidentally cut his tongue with the dagger. What? Skinny and fell down. This. Everyone is speechless. Hey ha ha ha, I'm lying to you. I am a paramesha poisonous fruit capable person. This point sees that the blood-sealed throat poison can do nothing to me. Skinny as a stick got up from the ground again. As expected of Captain Poison waiting, it's fine to be poisoned by this kind of poison. His pirate minions took the opportunity to flatter him. Everyone looked at them, even more speechless. After this insignificant little farce, the ant finally spoke again. She first glanced at Katakuri with satisfaction, as expected of her intended successor. Katakuri is undoubtedly the child she is most satisfied with compared to other sons and daughters who do not live up to expectations. After that, she said just now. As Katakuri said, now, everyone should understand the necessity of working together to eliminate Bai Ye and the others, right? They are the biggest threat to your competition for Pluton. Keeping them is to leave a huge disaster for yourself. Apart from these things, without our big mom pirates to assist you, just rely on you pirates, it is impossible to win you Ye. 0 for flowers. So, I'll give you one more chance. Do you want to cooperate with our big mom pirates and work together to get rid of Bai Ye first, or let's go and let you and Bai Ye fight for Pluton? After gaining confidence, the ant spoke even more arrogantly. Of course it's the former, you're right. Advertisement. The one-armed old captain said neither humble nor overbearing. Okay. The captains of the other pirate groups also nodded. The other side. Brother Bai Ye, why don't you let me take action? They are plotting to deal with you together. 0. Wabel wanted to take advantage of the time when the ant was chatting nonsense with everyone and rush up to make a big fuss, but was stopped by Bai Ye. It doesn't matter, I just want them to discuss it together and deal with me together. In case someone has a disagreement, they will go directly to Alabasta's palace and trouble King Cobra. Bai Ye said calmly. It's completely like watching a good show. In fact, there is still one thing he didn't say, that is, if they don't join forces to deal with him, how can he have a chance to get rid of them all at once? Brother Bai Ye, you are always thinking of us, because thank you. Upon hearing this, Princess Vivi's favorability towards Bai Ye further increased. But, Bai Ye, they are very powerful, and there is also the ant of one of the 4 emperors. This time it is not like dealing with Kaido and the Beast's pirates. There is no Whitebeard Pirates as reinforcements, and even the power rock is staying on the pinnacle superior. Robin said hesitantly. Also, none of the 4 emperors is a monster, just a Kaido and his Beast's pirates. To destroy them, you have to use the entire Whitebeard pirate group. This time, not only Big Mom and her Big Mom pirate group, but also dozens of big pirate groups. Although Robin knew that Bai Ye was very powerful, so strong that even she couldn't understand it, but the strength they faced this time was probably too strong. Without any backup, and without laying down power rocks in advance, with their strength, they can really fight against a powerful opponent.